oh, it's your best friend, but he's also the like Pokemon, the nation Pokemon Masters bro.
Yeah,
like that guy could just go somewhere. Please leave. I am so bored with you.
Wait, the little brother or his big brother?
I liked his big brother because like his big brother actually did like the little brother is like, I'm his brother. And why don't people respect me? And it's like,
come take this L.
Talking.
Like,
right.
I have no idea what y'all talking about.
At no point have you been a challenge to me. So please.
So yeah, like you know how in Pokemon you always like meet up with your rival every new town, and you have to play them to get past. Like in Sword and Shield, your rival is just trash. So like it's literally just a bother for him to meet up with you, and then you're like, all right, come get this L real quick.
All right, it is February 18th. This GameEnthus podcast, episode 429. I'm Aaron, one of the hosts here. Tiny is here.
I am here, and I am very excited for Project Triangle Strategy or Triangle Strategy.
People like shapes. It's a known fact that people like shapes of things.
Wrangling angles.
Sometimes I look four sides.
I look forward to that game being released in 2028.
2028. We gave you the demo. Shut up.
We're now waiting for your survey feedback so we can figure out what game we actually.
We didn't have any ideas. Hoping the survey would fill in all the blanks. Anyway, Mike is here.
I also am here.
That's
it. I don't know. I just got logged. Like Google said, "Hey, you're not logged in anymore," even though I didn't do anything. So I'm re-logged in, ready to go.
Okay. Just to let you know, this week for your image, I have the Japanese box art for Keith Courage.
Nice. So something Wataru, right?
Yeah.
Let me see. I gotta.
Anyway, enough about us. We have a special guest this week. We have Jay Bell joining us. Welcome, Jay.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for reaching out to me, Aaron. I'm super excited to talk about all these Nintendo games and maybe some combat of the mortal kind.
Okay, I'm glad that you said yes. I was gonna say your video kind of froze up there a little bit.
Can you see me, hear me now? I'm good.
I can hear you fine.
We can hear you, but it comes in and out of.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of slideshow mode.
Interesting.
But I wasn't sure. Also, maybe that's just. Let's say the United States' telecom is taking a beating right now. So I wasn't like, hey,
we can hear you just fine.
Yeah,
so
we'll make do.
Yeah.
Okay.
No worries.
Gotcha.
I didn't mean to derail. So, Jay, for those who are not familiar with who you are, your work, your recent successful pitch, why don't you bring us up to speed on what you've been up to as of late?
Yeah, for sure. Right at the end of January, I did what was being called Pitch for the Ages at Winter UnPub during the Feedback Frenzy. And I'm a board game designer, graphic designer by profession. And I talked about a little game called Frogs in Rain where you're competing to like get your team of frogs to the outer edge of a board. And it's a super fun game for kids, adults, and it's going out to publishers to possibly get published. I mean, I'm hoping and praying. So that's what I'm doing. I'm still making other games all the time. The ideas are nonstop. You can check me out at VJ Bell pretty much on any social media channel, and I have a website called CloverSpark. That's CloverSpark. I house pretty much all the creative stuff I do and write blog posts about pretty much everything.
Cool. So give us a little background on your history in board game design. Like, when did you start? What kind of mechanics did you start off with that led up to Frogs in Rain? If you want to also describe Frogs in Rain, we'd be interested in hearing that as well.
Awesome. Yeah. I want to say it was December 2018 when I first started. And I was actually inspired because I watched Ready Player One for, I think it was the first time. And I was like, man, this would be crazy cool as a board game. And my wife was like, well, get started because we have a 12-hour drive ahead of us. We were going home for Christmas. And so I started doing that, and it was like a modular hex board with some asymmetric characters, and you're like trying to do these weird things where you're traveling all across different places. And that game is still in design. It's just taken me a little while to get it all finessed out. Unlike Frogs and Rain, which, if I'm being honest, I started working on that game mid-October of this past year. And
now you're just showing
now
off.
I'm
Go
pitching
ahead,
it, which is unheard of. That's the thing, man. I don't really show up, but it's these board games it's really awesome how quickly I can come up with ideas. Like, actually, the night that I pitched the game, I didn't go to sleep until like 5 a.m. And in that time, I came up with another board game idea.
Okay.
Wow. Just knocking them out.
Hey, if the creative juices are flowing,
right,
let them flow. Let them flow. All right, just a little bit of the background on. I did hear you on Our Family Plays Games, so about some of the background of Frogs, and I thought that was really interesting, and folks who really want to hear about where that came from.
Right. So my wife, where I am right now, is a small town called Rain, Louisiana, and that's where my wife was born. Rain is the self-proclaimed frog capital of the world because apparently at some point in time in U.S. history, they exported the most frog legs to like France and the rest of the world. And so they have a frog festival. And at this frog festival, they race frogs, or used to before the pandemic. And I was like, man, that would be really easy to make into a frog game. And sure enough, on my drive back from New Jersey to Louisiana, I was like, okay, so we got a board, we got a team of frogs. This is going to play at least 6 players because you got to have kids enjoying themselves with each other.
Like that 6-player.
And
that's what's up.
Yeah. Yeah, so it really came together super quick. I knew the cultural references behind it, obviously very well. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. This is all new to me, and I guess I always thought frogs were like a locally sourced thing. So I've learned a lot today. I didn't know exported frog legs.
France favors for all their frogs.
Yeah. It is a thing. It is the thing. And this is a dice game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. That sounds really interesting. I see we have Monique in the chat there. I wish the air horn noises could come through, but that's what's up. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. So just like, what are some of your favorites? So you said 2018 when you first started designing, but like, what were some of the first games that influenced you just to get into the hobby, period?
Oh, definitely Shards of Infinity. A buddy of mine brought that over, and we were living in Ithaca, New York at the time, and my friend was like, "No, we're not playing Monopoly. We're playing Shards of Infinity." I was like, "What is this? What is this?" But that game, I think it was mostly the art and just the fact that it was like an all-out battle, you versus your opponent. I was all for that because I have 3 brothers, and our entire lives we were playing Smash Brothers and all kinds of other stuff to see who was the last man standing. So when I got introduced to Shards, it was the beginning of a rabbit hole. So then there was Catan, and then Clank, and from there I don't even remember what I played next. But yeah, those were probably the big 3.
Okay, I gotta say,
cool.
One of Shards was one of the not so much that I have the physical game and the solo expansion, which I think you have as well. I kind of pick your brain about that one, but after I got into Mystic Vale, Shards is like the next thing that like really hooked me. So I'm all about that Shards. More the digital version. It's funny, I've owned the physical version. I only played it like maybe once because I always found it like, because I always played the computer just one-on-one for the most part. The idea of playing with more than 2 people just seems odd to you because you are dividing your attack amongst everybody, right? Or do you have a choice? I'm trying to think. You have a choice, or do you not?
Yeah, you get to break up your damage however you wanna do that, but I gotta say, like 3 and 4 players, it's a completely different game because there's more turns that happen in between you getting the buy in the market and you sending out attack. Defending is really cool because your defense doesn't go away. You keep that in your hand, and anybody who didn't realize, oh, you blocked for 8 and they send some attack your way, it's just like, well, I'm blocking for 8 again, so tough luck.
No doubt. And I guess I got hooked on it. I was, on my phone playing just everywhere. When I used to commute into my office, I would play a lot of it. And I never played Star Realms. I never played Star Realms. So when I was at Unplugged, I played Star Realms and was like, oh, wait a minute, like this is the same game. I was like, yeah, but I was introduced to Shards first, so for me it's like this is all new. People are like, that's pretty much the same game. I'm like, I don't know. The first one I tried, I got hooked. And it's very similar. It is a very similar game. I believe Star Realms was first, but
I don't know. See, that's the same for me. I've just recently was told about Star Realms, and I'm actually gonna play it soon. I'm getting a copy of it, but yeah, I was told that they're basically the same game. But after I read on Star Realms, I was like, this seems different enough that I would still enjoy it. I don't know.
No, it is. It ticks those same kind of boxes. But have you played the digital version of Shards?
Nah. I keep wearing down my physical copy.
Hey, nothing wrong. If you got 3 people to play with, that's probably the way to go. But it's the computer can be vicious in that. I mean, it's like how you're playing somebody and what's the thing you get up to 30, your engineering score or whatever it is, and then if that car comes up, you've won. The computer will be at like 2. It'll be like 5 minutes and it's like 30. Like, what happened here? So it sneaks up on you. So, but if you ever want to play the digital one, then let me know. I play it on Steam. Play it on the portable version. It's really good. It is pretty good. But and that's the thing. I've pretty much do a one-on-one thing, but I would like to play with 3 other people to kind of see how that goes. So
yeah, for sure. I'm all about that.
Shards is a good game. Have you played the solo expansion yet?
I haven't. See, in my household, I'm burdened with reading all the rule books, so I haven't gotten to that rule book yet.
I wish that was my burden. I'm burdened with reading the rule book and cajoling other people to play. So it depends. Some things they're not going to play Shards. Well, maybe, but some stuff they're like, all right, cool. Other things that are like, I'm not going to play that. They're like, this looks fun, but no. Even if you know how to play, we're good. I'm like, okay. So some things I just work it out on my own. It happens.
I heard the one player and the co-op is really good. Mm-hmm. And there's that new character that they added. It's like a 5th faction, right?
That is right. It's still in the box. I need to break it out myself. Yeah, I'm gonna get to it. Oh, you know what? Better yet, you know what? I'll wait for you to understand it, and you can explain it to me. It'll save me time. No,
that's my job. I read the rules and I tell people how it works.
Hey, that's if the system works, we go with it. So tell us about this. You have the Super Collider Improv show up here. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right, yeah. So one of the many creative things that I do is improv acting. I got into that here in Louisiana in Lafayette with the Silverbacks, which is an improv troupe that was started at the university out here. And I was taught by some of them in like a sort of like 3-level improv class. And then I took those skills to Ithaca and I joined an improv troupe out there called the Comedy Flops. And so we did some improv for charity, raising funds for like local businesses out there. Ithaca's a super cool town, like tons of great community support with each other. So did that for a while. And now that I'm back here, in Lafayette, the Super Collider is this virtual. It's not always virtual, but it's like a collective of different improv troupes here in Lafayette putting on a show for anybody who wants to see it. And if you don't know what improv is, think like Whose Line Is It Anyway, where everything is like 99% made up on the spot. There's parameters for what we're going to be doing, but we're making it all up on the fly.
It's funny. I've spent a decent amount of time in Ithaca. My oldest goes to Ithaca, and she's actually a senior. Okay. She'll be graduating in May. That's the thing. I always joke around when I go to Ithaca. I'm pretty much packing a car up or unloading a car on the campus, so I don't get a chance to see a whole lot. But people mention, I'm like, all this stuff is there, and I ask her, "Have you seen this stuff?" She's like, "Yeah," but she's kind of a homebody because she's like, well, she's here now because of everything else. But to finish up, but a lot of people talk about what they see there. I'm like, I've never seen any of this. I ask her, like, have you seen this? She's like, no, I don't know what that is. I'm like, okay, your grades are good, so I'm not gonna complain. So hey, money well spent. So I'm not gonna. I don't want you to spend too much time looking at stuff that's not class. So yeah, yep, works for me. Works for me. All right. Anything else you want to just bring up in this this anecdotal portion of the show about yourself, or anything recently that you saw, liked, want to discuss?
Other than just giving a shout out to Board Game Twitter for all their awesomeness and just the incredible community that they are. Really Monique especially.
Monique is dope.
Yeah. Nah, man. Just some of those Nintendo games, Mortal Kombat, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, the direct. So the direct happened. What was that? Yesterday, or the day before?
Yesterday.
My days are all mixed
the
up.
17th.
Yeah.
What were some of your highlights from the Nintendo Direct?
Mario Golf for sure.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You a fan of like the GBA Mario Golf games, like the more RPG ones and stuff, or more like the GameCube ones, the ones that came out later? Not really.
Yes, 64. That was my favorite.
Yes.
Good answer. Good.
That was the golden age.
I had that somewhere.
Yeah.
I had the Japanese version. So yeah, I never really got it. Like the Mario sports games never really got me. I don't know what it is. Mario Kart, yes, but no, Strikers though. I like Strikers on the Wii. That was good. That was fun.
Oh, the soccer game. Football.
Yeah. I think I played a GameCube version though. So yeah, and that Mortal Kombat
it was hard for me. Like,
I'm sorry.
Like I said, I grew up with. Oh no, it's cool. I like I said, I have 3 brothers, and I'm the second oldest, and like. It always seemed like the tier ranking went with our ages. So like my older brother would crush me in Strikers all the time.
But that meant you also crushed your younger brothers too.
Oh, right, so. like is this the tier ranking going down?
I guess your youngest brother had nobody to beat. So it was like just looking around like I just lose. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I never thought about that, I never considered how he just like
he got nothing. Just L's.
I can't win against anyone. Oh.
He did get extremely good at Super Smash Brothers. Which one was that? It might have been Melee. Was Melee the one with Kid Link, Toon Link?
Melee is the one on GameCube. So.
Yeah, I think so because he wasn't the first one. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I played so much of that game, but I was just out of college then. So I thought I was good, and then I went to something and saw people playing. I was like, "I'll let me play." I was not good.
No,
I found out like, I'm guard. Let me just give up these sticks forever because this is not going to work out for me. Yeah, it's a whole. The Smash community is a whole another thing. That's. Yeah.
I guess that would have been Brawl because Toon Link, which makes sense because Wind Waker would have come out after Melee.
Yeah.
So that must have been Brawl.
Melee was her jam. Yeah, Melee was dope. Like Melee, like I had N64 when it was cool, but Melee just has so much in it. And then Brawl, existed.
Brawl has a ton of characters in it. It just seems like that tripping mechanic is the problem. Like
it just felt
your character can't run. I mean, it's also a Wii game.
Yeah.
So
remember we played before the server was about to go down, and it was like 1 frame a second. That was terrible.
Good old Wii Online. So
yeah, good on something.
That's why you didn't pay for it. So
that is true. Just like PS3, it was free, so that meant it was the best. The best.
You get what you pay for. Is really what we're saying.
Not how that works. Not how that works at all.
But then, I mean, Jay, you also mentioned Mortal Kombat, and man, that Mortal Kombat trailer.
That was something. Did you see? And there's a red band version too, right? So that's the one I saw. I don't know if that was the only one or what, but.
Oh, I haven't seen if there's a censored one. I've not seen it yet. So
yeah,
all I've seen is.
I'm better off not seeing it.
Yeah.
Like that first 5 seconds.
I watched the one you shared.
Yeah, that first 5 seconds when you watch Jax lose his arms, you're like, oh,
okay.
This is a very different movie than the '90s Mortal Kombat movie.
Yes, it is. Well, I mean, that one was still good though. I mean, that I enjoyed that though. Yeah. But yes, they definitely are like, we're going to make this rated R, and we're going to go all the way because, Joseph Lieberman is not paying attention anymore, so they can just do whatever they want. So
I'm checking something real quick just to be sure. But
this is on MK?
Yeah, Paul W.S. Anderson of Resident Evil movie fame also did the first Mortal Kombat movie.
He did. That was his best movie. He started off here, and then it all went.
So, he also did Event Horizon. So
that was good too.
I'm gonna throw that out there, but yeah, I was like, because again, that was also in that Insert Coin, the Midway documentary. They were talking about the movie and whatnot. I'm like, wait, I'm pretty sure it was Mr. Resident Evil.
Paul W.S. Anderson.
So
they keep making those movies, man. I don't.
I'm pretty sure those movies are over. I'm just I don't think there's any Mila Jovovich Resident Evils in production.
Hey, there's a Mila Jovovich Monster Hunter movie that no one saw. So why did they make that thing? I don't. Who was that for? I don't even know.
That's a better question because if you watch the Honest trailers or whatnot, there are more interesting characters in that movie that probably should have been the main characters of that movie.
Are you including T.I.'s character as one of the interesting characters?
I don't believe T.I. was one of the people. I think they actually meant because it's a weird it doesn't have anything to do with the yeah. Okay, wait, time out for a sec. T.I. was very good in Ant-Man. He was
funny in both of them. He was funny.
But wait, have you seen the Monster Hunter movie?
No, I meant funny in both of the Ant-Man movies.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant
Monster Hunter.
I'm like, did you see Monster Hunter? I'm like,
nope.
I feel like this would have been a discussion.
I value my time some days.
But the Monster Hunter movie is a weird
I just didn't realize.
Go for it, Jay.
I didn't realize that I would be so entertained by the talk of T.I. in movies because T.I. is not somebody I thought would be a topic of discussion ever in a movie, but now he is. That just blows my mind.
Yeah. You're welcome.
We don't stick the topics very well. We're not very good at that.
You should watch the trailer for Monster Hunter because I believe there's a scene where he's holding up a gun, looking through the sight with his closed eye.
Yes,
they left in the movie. They didn't just say cut T.I. because you look through the scope with your open eye.
That's not how scopes work.
You gonna look through your eyelid through the scope? Okay, cool.
But again, Monster Hunter's a weird. We took a modern military unit and transported them to the Monster Hunter universe.
Yep.
And there are people there that legitimately hunt monsters, but we're oh, Mila Jovovich needs to be the main focus of this movie.
Yeah, did the Resident Evils do that well? They're let's just.
I mean, maybe it helps when the director is your husband. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Maybe that's probably
if it's not so financed, somebody to come in and say, Paul, your wife is lovely. I know she can hear us. I'm just saying, maybe we should focus on a character that I don't know is within the Monster Hunter world. Just saying, or either that or just T.I. Choose.
But I think
T.I.'s the answer.
Exactly, T.I. is it's gold. You know what I'm saying? Watch the money just pour right in.
When that movie comes to Amazon or whatever, I will watch that movie. So, but not until then. So
not until then.
I mean, so I will just as a random side note for that. Apparently, Sonic the Hedgehog the movie is now on Amazon and Hulu.
I enjoyed that movie.
I'm finally going to watch that movie.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet. Mike, did you see it?
Yeah,
Good.
I don't care. I just don't care. I mean, I cared because, like, sure, there's some things that are like, it's better than a lot of other video game adaptations, but there were so many things that happened in that movie that made me go, if I cared about this franchise, this moment would make me angry. Really? Because of how stupid it is, not because of how unfaithful it is. I don't care about that. But it's like, I don't know, let's just stop at this biker bar for no reason on this trip where we're trying to be very inconspicuous and get into a fist fight with locals.
Well, it was to recreate a very X-Men-ish.
I was going to say, does it work better if you send that Scott Summers hanging out with Sonic? Like, is it like?
Well, I meant X-Men-ish as in like Quicksilver-ish type of scene.
Oh, okay. I still haven't seen it, but every time I see James Marsden,
yeah, I mean, sure, it's a spoiler, but also, hey, something incredibly stupid happened. It had nothing to do with the plot. So there you go.
Something incredibly stupid happened in the Sonic movie.
Right.
See, if you go into every video game movie and think of the second Mortal Kombat movie, they're all great. They're all fantastic.
Thankfully, I've never seen that.
If the ground is here and the bar is here, you have nowhere to go but up.
I see. Like, that's it. Annihilation's a bad movie, but there are worse video game movies, like the Max Payne movie.
I never saw it. Never saw it.
Okay.
Nope.
That is better than House of the Dead.
Yes. Okay. I'll agree.
Probably
House of the Dead is a lower. Yeah. All Uwe Boll movies are lower than that, but House of the Dead has literally nothing. Like, I think there's a House of the Dead arcade machine in the background at one point.
Right.
That is the only thing House of the Dead
is there a house
in
it? Okay. Is there a house in the movie?
There's a party on a beach.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never mind. I got nothing. I always want to be like, is there a house?
Like,
and are
it's
dead?
It's a rave and zombies show up at the rave.
There are of the deads, but no house. But when that movie was fresh to home video, I went to the video store and I took it up to the counter to check it out. And the guy just shook his head at me and he's like, "You do not want to rent this." And I was just like, I'll check it out. I like the House of the Dead games. Whatever. I brought it back. The same guy was there. And I just said, "Yeah, you're right. This is trash."
He tried, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the Dead or Alive movie was the same. I watched that whole thing on YouTube.
I
never saw it.
And like, it is bad.
I don't doubt that.
All of these still better than Jason X, though. I'm just gonna.
Dead or Alive had
Jason X was fun. What was wrong with Jason X? First of all, that's not a video game. So
it's not a video game, but it might as well be.
Well, I mean, it was going to be in a video game until a lawsuit prevented it from happening.
Right, but Jason's also on a holodeck at one point in that. He also gets upgraded by nanomachines. It might as well be a video game script.
That movie was like when he put that woman's head into liquid nitrogen and froze her head and smashed it. Shakespearean. I mean, it was beautiful.
My freshman year, me and my roommate downloaded that. We watched half of it, and we didn't pay anything, and we still didn't finish it.
I went to the theater. I went to the theater to see it.
I saw it months before.
I tripped over a stroller in the theater. I was a bit concerning. I'm like, why is there a stroller? Anyway. Wait, what? I was like, who brought that? Hey, I remember I saw a family sitting in front of my wife and I went to go see the first Deadpool, and I was like, these are interesting choices. Okay,
people have made choices. Yes.
Yeah,
we're trying to raise people who are going to be the next society. But anyway, whatever.
Anyway, so this whole discussion was based off of, hey, that Mortal Kombat trailer was really cool.
Yes, back to
just to get back to track.
Sorry, Jay, we went off on a tangent.
No, it's fine, man. I'm loving this. Just bring up T.I. again, and I'm good.
I gotta look up more movies of T.I.
What video games has T.I. been in?
What else was he in? Let me think.
I mean, we do need another Def Jam video game.
I would
like a better one.
Yeah, I didn't like Icons. That was the last one, right?
That was the one that had like the weird music styling.
That was the one where you could throw somebody's face into a gas station and have it explode, right?
Yes.
So I was down with that. Maybe nothing else, but
I was down with the GameCube, the first one. The second Fight for New York was cool, but it wasn't. The first one was like built on that Aki N64 wrestling engine, so I was like, I'm here for it. Plus, Redman was in. I mean, it was you put Redman in the game. I'm gonna play that game. This only happened one time, but still, Redman was in the game. So Def Jam. What happened? I don't know. So yeah, Mortal Kombat looks good, and it's coming to what? It's in theaters or wherever.
HBO April 16th.
HBO Max. So
Yeah, depending on where you live, it's either in the theater or I guess in the theater / HBO.
who was going to movie theaters like that enough to make it profitable?
Hey, I mean, what was that? The
People
thing
in New
in
Zealand?
China just nearly broke box office records and
What?
whatever it was. I have to look it up now because I didn't.
It was the T.I. biopic starring T.I. Is that what it was? Okay.
I'm now gonna go look up his IMDb.
He said I was Tip for Q-Tip.
What else am I?
Oh wait, he was in Takers. He was definitely in Takers.
Okay, I never saw it.
So I love Takers, but everyone else apparently did not watch the same movie as me because they said it sucked.
What is it about? I honestly don't even know.
So I'm gonna do this terribly, but the first half of the movie, you get introduced to a whole bunch of guys who used to, like rob banks and stuff together. And then the second half of the movie is basically the Italian Job.
How
So
have I
are
not
there
heard
Mini
it?
Coopers in this movie or no?
No,
Okay.
that's the only part of the Italian Job probably that's not in this movie.
So it's
Mac-
Mos Def and Mark Wahlberg. Are they both in this movie?
You got the late great Paul Walker, so he's
Okay.
he's Mark.
You've
in this
got
one.
Paul Walker, Idris Elba, Hayden Christensen, Chris Brown, T.I. Like, this feels like a movie I should have definitely heard of, and I have no idea about this movie.
Oh, in the chat, GameEnthus76 at ATL. So
Yeah. ATL for sure.
yeah, I've never seen. I guess I should see it. Let's
Yeah,
pause.
check it out.
Let's take a 2-hour pause. We'll go watch it. We'll come back. We'll discuss. So,
I mean, anything with Hayden
ready.
Christensen in it is probably going to be quality.
yeah.
You should definitely spend your time. So.
He was in this movie. I liked when he was still in the Star Wars age frame, where his father was played by Chris Klein, I think it was. Anyway, it was called Life is a House. Not funny, not like action or whatever. It was like a life drama thing, but I liked it.
You said Life as a House or
Life as a House.
Okay, I heard Life is a House.
I
and
heard
was
Life
very
is a House.
confused.
Yeah.
No.
And I was trying to figure out, like, okay.
The name of the title of the movie is basically explaining what the father's trying to. He's trying to sort of make right with his life by building this house. It was an interesting movie. I don't know. I liked it at the time. I haven't seen it since it came out. Probably like 18 years ago or something.
Okay.
Life as a House, 2001.
There you go.
Okay.
20,
Like
20 years ago.
in his Star Wars, like between episode 1 and 2. So
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Hayden Christensen is a whiny little brat. So surprise. But
I mean,
I still enjoyed the movie.
we're glad that you could get something out of it despite his whininess. That's what really matters.
I know this show is already all about tangents, but if we're going to talk about them, the thing I remember about Hayden Christensen is he sued the USA Network because he swore he came up with the concept of a concierge doctor in the Hamptons, which was a show on USA for like 5 seasons. And he's like, I came up with the idea that doctors go to houses. Which is
Weren't house calls a thing that happened
Weird
many years
thing
ago
to claim.
before you had centralized?
It's a super weird thing to claim. I don't believe that lawsuit went anywhere, but it's the thing I remember. Anyway. I'm trying to remember. Royal Pains. That's what the name of that show was on the USA Network. So
I don't even understand what that means. Like the whole idea of a house call was the time when there were no like hospital
Sorry, I should clarify. House calls in the Hamptons.
Oh well, okay.
So like that makes it completely unique and new. Anyway, whatever. That's the only thing. Other than obviously help be in the new Obi-Wan Kenobi show coming on Disney Plus.
Why will he be like? He's getting
somehow,
a check. I need a check.
Somehow he's gonna show up.
He's getting a check
As like Darth Vader.
I don't know. I will wait and see what it is, but I can't think of a scenario where I would not be upset by seeing him, unless it's a flashback, and then it goes, why is he 20 years older than he's supposed to be?
He's coming back for the high ground, man.
That movie was so well. Attack of the Clones is worse, but still, yeah.
Mike, you're going to be very angry when I tell you IMDb at least has him listed in multiple episodes.
I mean, I don't know what the show is exactly, but I can't imagine that that's a good idea.
He's just waiting for the Jumper sequel. Like, that's what he's really waiting for.
They ran out of money with that movie. I like that movie.
That was him?
Hayden Christiansain?
Yeah,
yeah, Jumper. Not T.I. I just want to clarify. Jumper might have been more interesting with T.I. in it. But yeah, Hayden Christensen was the main character. Well,
because I never understood. Like, how did they get killed by the people with no abilities? Like, how did you get? If you can teleport, how are you getting killed by some dude with a net and a knife? Like I never got it. Like, what are we doing here?
Caught off guard?
I guess.
Doesn't the net also like stop them from teleporting though? Like, isn't it like electrified or something?
Yeah, I guess.
What's
all I remember is the video.
Samuel Jackson?
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of people can't escape from Samuel Jackson. I mean, come on.
Isn't he also a blonde-haired Samuel L. Jackson? Like, I remember Samuel Jackson looked real odd in Jumper. I'm like, I'm almost certain either that or I'm thinking of another Samuel L. Jackson.
I think you're thinking of Samuel Jackson in Great White Hype. It's a very different movie than Jumper.
I could see how I could get those two confused.
Teleportation, boxing. Let me see.
Right.
Wait. Is Jumper post Star Wars where Mace Windu just had enough and he's coming back for Anakin?
Yeah.
Again, much like how the Sonic movie is just a follow-up that Cyclops is just hanging out with a blue Sonic hedgehog now.
Of course.
So
it all comes full circle, Jack. We right back where we started. Mortal Kombat.
which looks like a good movie. If you have access to HBO, I think you should probably watch it. Goro isn't a animatronic rubber doll.
They did the best they could.
So,
with what they had.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to that. But I just wish that also meant that you were able to play Shaolin monks easier. Because, I mean, you can get access to Mortal Kombat, a fighting game of Mortal Kombat easy. But Shaolin monks is probably the best spin-off game for Mortal Kombat.
I never played it. I just don't know.
Well, it's better than Mythologies and Special Forces, so
the bar was set low.
I mean, yes. I mean, Mythology. Oh man, Sub-Zero Mythology is amazing and terrible.
Like, they had platforming in it. Why? Who thought that was a good? Let's take the same Mortal Kombat engine and add like crushing pillars.
Well, probably the same people that thought it was an awesome idea to put jumping problems in Double Dragon, where you're like, oh, I have to do this jump kick over this tiny little hole that I'm more than likely going to fall into and die and have to walk away or put another quarter in.
Jump kick a guy with an automatic weapon. Yeah.
There's that, but I will also say they have full motion video cutscenes in there where like everyone's wearing just painted paintball gear to be like
live action.
Live action full motion video inside Mythology.
That's interesting.
That if you just want to go see a supercut on YouTube, it is. Yeah,
that'd be pretty neat if they had high res original capture footage from that you can remaster it now. In other words,
I want to say like a PlayStation version dropped for it that never like got officially released, but like someone found. Also, I put a picture of Samuel L. Jackson from Jumper, and he is 100%.
Yes.
Like, yep.
It's silver. Yeah. He definitely has.
Oh.
Yeah. That. Yep.
Well.
All right.
At least it's not blonde, but he's still got the black beard.
Well,
Yeah, I mean it's possible, but
the Grecian formula is real expensive in that world. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, we should probably move on because we've just kind of been on topics somewhat
all
around
over the place. I don't know what's going on, Jay. This is crazy. Mike, what's going on with you, man?
I say nothing's going on. No, there's a couple of things that I watched recently. One is this movie that my wife heard about, and she's like, "Oh, I want to watch this. Want to watch this with me?" Okay, all right, whatever. So I have no idea what this is.
Okay,
like not a clue. I don't know what it's called. Never heard of it. Don't know what it's about. Don't know who's in it. Don't know nothing.
This is what you're describing right now.
We're watching. Yes, we're watching this movie.
Sure.
We're watching this movie.
I don't know what it is.
No, I mean I don't know, but so I don't like as people show up. I'm like, oh, I didn't know so and so was going to be in it or whatever. But now that I've seen it, I can tell you, this is a low budget, serious, very serious action thriller slasher movie.
Okay.
So you don't have a whole lot of money, and you're going for who's going to be watching those kind of movies, right? You got enough money to come up with 2 name actors.
Dude.
The name actors they get are Joel McHale and Kevin James, who plays an escaped convict neo-Nazi.
Okay,
like
which one plays that?
This is a horror movie, right?
One
like,
character.
This is a horror movie where the lead actors are both known for comedic roles, like not just a little bit, but that's who they are. And I thought the movie was pretty stupid. But
I mean, what they were doing was very tongue in cheek. Like it was. Or were they really trying to play?
Oh no! I mean, yes, it was campy in that way that you can watch a horror movie and watch somebody die and go, look at that, it looks silly because it's not real and it's over the top or whatever. But there wasn't like a single moment in the whole movie that were like, oh, that was supposed to be a joke. The only laughing was when I saw somebody get run over by a lawnmower or something along those lines.
Whoa, wait! Like Happening style run over by a lawnmower? Because that's one of the funniest parts of The Happening.
Oh, it is absolutely. But that person also just decided I'm going to lay in front of this self-propelled lawnmower and die.
Like The Happening is one of the best comedies of that year. So
sure. Oh yeah, I saw it a second time in the theater just so I could enjoy it as a comedy.
Watch Zoe Deschanel stare blankly. Everybody's dead? What?
Yeah.
Hot dogs, they're perfect food.
Did that guy die? Did the hot dog guy die?
No, he goes off in the you don't know.
Almost certainly by now.
They went off with the other group.
Yeah, he's dead.
But
he ate a plant and choked on it to die.
Like John Leguizamo was like, "Don't take my child's hand. I'm going to abandon her with you," and then immediately dies in that Jeep afterward. Anyway, The Happening is a great movie. If you haven't watched it,
better. I mean, as long as you know what you're staring at, it's a better movie than. Oh, did I even say?
Because you haven't said the name yet. Yeah.
Did I not say? Oh, sorry. It's called Becky.
You introduced it like I don't know what it's called. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know what I'm watching. I look at Jay. Jay's like, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Like what are we doing?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just called Becky.
Okay.
And it came out like this past summer. Like it was supposed to be released to something prominent, but then COVID, so blah blah blah. I mean, I will say if it was like a college student school project, I'd be very impressed. But I don't know who made this, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. This is a weird choice and hard to recommend. But something I will wholeheartedly recommend for anybody who's into Star Wars is Rebels, and I have gotten through season 3 of that. Just completed that today. I say the finale of season 3 maybe I didn't think was quite as good. The season 2 finale was just it was awesome. So
spoilers. It
was really hard to live up to that, but it was really cool. And somebody went out a damn hero, and it was still really cool.
Spoilers.
But so there's only season 4 left, and it's a short season, so I'm assuming that means combined with I never get the impression that Rebels lived anywhere up to the popularity of Clone Wars. So I'm kind of bummed in that sense, because I hope it ends on some sort of satisfying. We either know what happens to these characters that obviously you never hear of because most of them are brand new. Prior.
They show up, like, at least their ship shows up in movies.
Yeah, that doesn't,
which is already more than anything from Clone Wars. So
no, because most of what was in Clone Wars was just, hey, let's give more background information about characters that were already established in movies. Certainly some more that they came up with. I'll say between Clone Wars and Rebels, I am really excited for the Ahsoka TV show whenever that comes around, because I never knew how awesome that character was until I watched this. And certainly that one episode of The Mandalorian did nothing to dissuade my opinion in that regard, because she's so cool. I want to see more of what
Ahsoka
I have
seen, and I might want to go back to realize why people were so hyped about her to begin with, because that was pretty dope.
But see, the big problem is if you watch the Clone Wars movie, which is the more or less pilot of the Clone Wars series, you'll probably hate that character because she is incredibly annoying. So don't watch any of that stuff. Just skip a whole bunch.
But it's season 2 of Clone Wars and start there.
I mean, you could, but yeah, definitely don't watch anything before season 2. But I kind of skipped around until I got to season 4, and then it kind of really.
I want to know what Jay thinks. Jay, should I watch the movie and skip to season 2, or should I watch all of it?
It's funny. I tried to start Clone Wars because people were like, "Yeah, watch it. It's awesome." And I got through like episode 3 of season 1, and I was like, "Man, this is dragging. This is fire."
Season 1 is not good. And if you, I mean, really, the only thing that I can remember that was of any significance at all is the introduction of Ahsoka, and it's just all you have to know is she was assigned to be Anakin's Padawan. That's it. Other than that, you don't need to know anything. Just skip ahead and then just watch her be better in later seasons.
She could not really try and still be better. But yeah. But yes. I mean, she could do nothing and still be better than him.
Or just watch Rebels and see why she.
Oh yeah, I mean, she's how she
got to the point. What happened to her? I guess the end of Clone Wars. You used to watch the Lost season or whatever. And
the Disney season,
right?
This
that explains how she got kind of screwed, and then how she stopped being a Jedi. She went to be a gray Jedi, like she is in Mandalorian and Rebels.
She is a gray.
Good stuff. I mean,
gray Force users.
But see, there's also so many things that are but if you ever wondered about there's this four episode arc in season 6, I think it is, of Clone Wars about how Yoda learns how to come back as a Force ghost, and it was Qui-Gon who came back just as a voice, but never figured out how to to be seen. And then what Yoda had to go through to attain this level where he could come back as a Force ghost, and then you start thinking, okay, so Obi-Wan had to do this too, and Anakin or Vader or something somehow at some point, and Luke. Wait a minute. No, I don't know. I think something's a little messed up here as far as the believability of all these people going through this trial.
You can't overthink that stuff. It falls apart. You just gotta whatever.
Are they all hanging out in whatever the afterlife is in that world? And he's like, "Hey guys, check out what you can do." And it's not like they have anything better to do while they're all hanging out.
But then why couldn't Qui-Gon have learned that by talking to anybody else in this Force afterlife?
But he does learn it. Doesn't he learn it later?
Okay, so if there's something I haven't seen yet, but he says specifically, his voice specifically says, "I can't because I never learned in life how to do it, so I would never be able to come back."
I guess he never came back as a corporeal ghost, but he is one of the voices you hear at the end of the last
his voice was that was the whole explanation. Is all he ever got to was he can project his voice through the Force to the living, but he cannot.
I mean, the real answer is that Liam Neeson doesn't want them to use his likeness. So
it might be. I mean, it was his actual voice in Clone Wars, which
money though, man.
I mean, sure.
he's got a specific set of skills, and sometimes he just doesn't want them to be.
You know, I'm glad that you bring that up because it's going to come up again. So that's a nice little preview.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I feel like we can move on to you unless Mike has something.
Absolutely, please. I'm good.
All right. So, for last weekend it was Valentine's Day. The week Valentine's Day was Sunday. So for the weekend, wife and I went locally to a hotel for a couple of days. Just get away from our lovely children and just get away from the house.
Gotcha.
And it's funny you mentioned a man with a special set of skills because there were two movies that we would talk about watching that we have we all have long listings that we're supposed to have watched at some point. So these two movies are somehow what we decided to watch for our romantic getaway. The first one was Captain Phillips. Very romantic.
Really setting the mood there. Okay.
Exactly.
The Somalian pirates one?
Right.
Yes. That
Okay.
one.
Okay.
My wifey wanted to see it, and we've been talking about it for a long time, so we finally watched Captain Phillips. And after that, we followed up with Taken 3.
The worst of the Taken movies.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it was.
the worst.
It's so bad.
The fact that at the very end, Forrest Whitaker is sitting there talking to him, and they explain the movie is like, if you had to do this, that means that your movie is complete trash.
Don't they kill the wife off like immediately in that movie? Like
Pretty much.
like
Yes.
Jansen is
Yep.
just dead.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she wanted to be in that movie either.
It was so bad. It was so...
I mean, it's still not as bad as, hey, daughter, please randomly throw grenades around this city so we can echolocate where I am. I hope no one dies by accident.
Well, he didn't say that. He just said throw the grenades.
Right. Like, just throw these grenades randomly and hopefully I'll hear them. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, the Taken movies.
Yeah, so Captain Phillips was good. It's just I'd never seen it, and well, obviously we'd never seen it. And it felt like I did not follow the real life happenings of the situation very closely, so I don't know all. It just felt like at a certain point they were like, we needed like another 40 minutes of this movie, so we're gonna just stretch. Some parts just felt like it was stretched out. Like once they're showing the Navy SEALs training, cleaning weapons, boarding a plane, falling out of the plane onto an aircraft kit, all these things, I'm just like, okay, they're gonna rescue him in like the next, I don't know, 20 minutes. I'm like, nah, it's been 45. Like he ain't rescued yet. Like let's go. It's like this
It's Last of Us Part 2 all over again.
finish it.
You think the ending is coming, and then there's a whole.
Yeah, that's
other-
why I haven't gone. I think, yeah. I have not played that in quite some time. So, yeah. But Captain Phillips was pretty good, but they kind of stretched it out a little bit. Yeah, Taken 3 was pretty bad. I mean, the second one wasn't nearly as good as the first one either. But
The first one's very good, but it's good because you didn't have many expectations, and they just kind of came together. The second one, again, mom and dad are kidnapped, so I guess this is the best plan I have. And then the third one is like,
and then
cool.
it's like the third one, like who the ultimate antagonist is. You're like, really? This is the best y'all could like really? And even the plot didn't make sense because it was like, spoilers, whatever. This movie came out a minute ago, so you killed her for the insurance money. But then you also killed her so you could tell the ex who killed her so that he would go kill them so you could keep the money.
You have already talked more about this movie than I remember. But
you owe this person money. So I guess if you kill her, get the insurance money. Even if Liam Neeson can't kill them, at least you get the insurance money to pay. It was just like that. Okay.
Redundancies.
You thought this through. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that happened. Yeah, and then I found out we were at a hotel, so we're getting a bunch of food, using delivery services, whatever. And when some places mean like contactless delivery, they really mean contactless to a point where they will just leave your food in the middle of the street if that's what you tell them that you are, and just walk away. Because like we ordered this delicious food, never saw it. It's good. It was claimed to be delivered. I'm sure there was some. I think the person like balanced it on top of a fire hydrant and just drove away, like delivered.
That's like that scene in the Ninja Turtles movie where he slides the pizza box down the sewer grate. Exactly.
Cheese would be all. It's the whole thing. It's a whole thing. That was a Domino's pizza, by the way. But yeah, I was just like, they ended up giving us a coupon. I'm like, I didn't get any food. I'm like, the restaurant done closed. I'm hungry. I'm mad. I'm like, come on, man. I delivered your food. Did you see me? Like, I don't. So that's a whole thing. And then
he steps outside of the restaurant. He just throws it like a frisbee in the direction of the hotel.
Does it probably get there?
The chat. Aerodactyl said our Valentine's Outback was left on the neighbor's porch for 2 hours.
Oh, delicious.
So while you were thinking about it, like
that bloomin' onion is blooming shrooms now.
Neighbor took the dog out late at night and found it. Yeah, I'd be heated. Like you paid all that money to get that stuff delivered. Just on your neighbor's porch, balance on some random fire hydrant of the hotel you're not in. It's just it's an experience. But anyway, so the last thing I'll mention is this. I think this was the first year at my job where we did like a Black History like program. So and it went over very well, and without saying who I work for, it was very aviation focused in terms of Black folks who did stuff involved with aviation. In terms of like, Eugene Bullard, who was the first American to be trained as a military fighter pilot, but he was trained in France, much like Bessie Coleman was also trained in France, not in the U.S. But I felt like overall it went very well. It was very informative. But then I thought like, yeah, how are we ever going to top this? I was like, unless we just pull out the same thing next year. It was like we gotta start working on next year's like tomorrow because we done started something. So, but that's a good problem to have. So that's a good thing. So yeah. So those are the things that I've been up to. Food that I didn't get to eat, some I did, and a very informative Black History event for the job. Tony, what have you been up to?
So I'll go through this real quick. I got an overdraft notice this morning about 4 a.m. on my phone.
I'm sorry about that. I apologize.
It's fun.
I ordered food.
Is that honestly, I would have preferred that over what actually happened. And this is partially my fault because I slipped and I let myself set up auto pay on my auto insurance, which I pay quarterly. For some reason, the auto pay robot thought I wanted to pay for the next 2 years last weekend.
Because most people do that. That's the thing. Jay, don't you do that? Don't you set up a quarterly payment that you really mean next 2 years?
The next 8 payments should all go through.
Yeah, who doesn't want to just have like 2 years worth of rent or mortgage taken out of their bank account in one day?
And like
randomly.
I keep a buffer, especially after we had like 3 years ago at MagFest. I had something similar happen where the hotel charged me twice because I had my initial reservation and then we had our group reservation and they didn't realize they were for the same person. So they charged me for both the hotel room twice. And there was only one hotel room.
That's a pretty big oversight. Like that.
Well, we got it figured out, but like
they thought you knew it twice as much. So they were like, we're going to charge.
But anyway, so I wake up to this and I'm like, why? What? So I'm looking and I see my auto insurance and then I see 7 other charges from my auto insurance. And so
like this is the last thing you expected. Like what?
Again, I keep a buffer in there because we've learned from past experiences. Like
we're supposed to,
but not like I don't know, a couple like a $10,000 buffer or whatever. So
2 years.
Not 10,000. That's more than my insurance.
Like
I would hope, but yes,
a $5,000 buffer for
a fleet of Rolls Royces. What are you doing?
So yeah, like so now I'm up because now I'm trying to figure out what's going on. It's 4 a.m. Geico systems are down for some update. So the very nice lady, like I'm not gonna get mad at customer service, and she's like, yeah, I can't do anything for you now. Call back in 2 hours.
Yeah, that's when you get mad.
I'm like, well, no, like again, I checked the app and it said, "Oh, we're in a change window." I'm like, okay, I'll try the phone service and see whatever. She says, "Call back in 2 hours," and I do, and they're like, "Cool, we'll do the refund." Great. So then I call my bank, be like, "Hey, I would like to put a pause or whatever on my bank account because I don't think I want to be charged because it's each overdraft fee, and like this is the first bill that had been paid. So like all the other bills I paid that weekend are going to get $38.50 per overdraft per day."
Wow.
I'm like, I'm not paying $500 in overdraft fees.
I love how the answer to no
for a
money
mistake.
is we'll charge you.
Yeah,
Well, and then it's because they didn't charge in one shot. You said it was 7 additional charges. You got hit multiple times.
Oh no,
just for them, right?
That took out everything else. So like none of the other bills that I had paid that were well within my budget that hit after those 7 charges.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, it was a special morning. I've been up since 4. So because like I wasn't going back to sleep when I got these notifications.
How could you?
Like yeah, like
what is sleep?
like it's dumb, but like it looks like everything's gonna work out, and like that's just like luck. Because like I talked to the guy, he's like, "Yeah, we have to see the refund, but yeah, we'll waive the overdraft." I'm like, "Thank you," because otherse I will take my shit and get out of here.
I just want to say, Aerodactyl in the chat said today would have been either a terrible or wonderful day to cause a fender bender. Super insured. You're not gonna just plow through your whole neighborhood. I'm unstoppable.
Yep. I mean, if I try to drive my car in the snow, it probably would be anyway.
You could have recreated that scene from Wolf of Wall Street. You would have been fine.
Take some lewds first.
Just to be safe.
On more positive stuff. I assume you all saw we landed on Mars with the new rover today.
Again.
Again.
I mean, you said it like we landed on Mars, like it's the first time.
Well, I mean, there's always a kind of a level of risk. Like if you want to see a good overview, Mark Rober, who is the science YouTuber.
I do watch his stuff because you put me onto it.
Yeah, like I mean, he's pretty good, and he worked on the last rover. I mean, he worked for NASA at that point, so like it's a good overview. And like the funny thing is that this new rover has a couple key features. So for one, it has like a gyrocopter in it that can go out and will essentially go up into the atmosphere and take pictures for the other rover. And they're testing out like, hey, is this something we could do? Like, is this feasible to have like a fleet of these so you can do faster recon for pictures and whatnot? But also this rover cores into the rock and then leaves essentially test tube samples for the next rover to pick up, which will then blast them back to Earth.
Nice. For
us to do tests on. So like this is the phase 1 of how we get Mars rocks back to us.
How long will it take to get back? What's their estimate for that?
So it was 7 months for it to get there.
Okay.
And it was I believe we are right now in the closest range to Mars at the moment. Like in the phase of like Mars, Earth, the celestial dance. Like we're as close, but like it's going to be a question of how like there's a whole lot of stuff. We'll see if this works, but like it's a real interesting idea. I mean, essentially, we just landed an SUV on another planet, and not only that,
big deal. But can you reheat McDonald's fries though? You can't.
It's exciting. I mean, don't make it sound like I'm downplaying this. To the point of not being interested. This is cool.
That is,
but it's not only that, but like if you watch it, and I'll throw up some links for stuff. How the descent, like it's not just a parachute. There's actually a descent vehicle that so the parachute gets it down to like something like 30 miles per hour or whatever. And then there's literally a hovering descent vehicle that lowers the rover onto the Mars surface. Like it doesn't crash into the surface or whatever.
Probably for the best.
And then it lowers itself, and then this thing just goes and crashes into Mars. Like, hey, how much fuel do you have left? Go end your life.
Right.
It's a one-way trip.
I mean, hey, it's
these are one-way trips. Yeah.
We just like leaving trash on other planets.
I mean, know your role.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if you want to talk about lonely, the other Mars, at least the last one, maybe the other two before it, all sing themselves happy birthday on their like creation date. on Mars.
Right, and then what is it like the? I forget how many there are, what their names are, whatever. But it's like, aren't they running significantly longer than they thought they would be?
Oh yeah, like Discovery and
thing.
Like I mean, so there were the twins that like these are the ones that freaking
The twins.
What's his name in the
what came to your mind when he said that?
in the Martian?
You can tell.
Oh my God,
it's safe.
Matt Damon, the one that Matt Damon digs up in the Martian is they were a set of two rovers that went out there, and then yeah. Anyway, it's cool. There's some stuff to watch. There's also like the 7 minutes of like death or whatever, because it takes 12 minutes for a signal to get back to us. So like this all had to be automated. Like all of this had to be done because like there's no way.
Yeah, there's not somebody at like mission control with a joystick like making this happen.
So like this all like and that's what leads to when we think
press
back.
A,
like,
press A.
Right, like who wants to play Lunar Lander on like satellite internet streaming or whatever, but with many minutes more than that.
But like this is also what leads back to when you think about the 2000s, the Lunar or the Mars mission that got messed up because they did not convert feet to metrics.
How do you forget that? How does that happen? Like who got fired or killed?
You probably have you probably have scientists that didn't grow up in America, so they use the metric system like everyone else does.
Yeah, it's so much easier if we all use the same thing.
So, but like when you look at it and they're like, oh, we should be at this depth. And they're like, well, that depth, when you convert it, is actually 40 feet in the ground. So
what can we do now? Nothing.
We can use that as a landmark for one. But anyway, we'll see.
Crash into it later.
Exactly. So, and then the last thing, my Extra Life 2020 medal showed up.
Hey, mine too. Congrats.
Yeah.
So
that's a triumvirate.
Yeah. This is my 10th year or my 10th medal.
I feel like this might be like my 5th or something. I'm nowhere near 10, but
I mean, these usually just hang out at the booth, but you know we haven't been able to go to conventions in a year, so like these medals will sit there. But yeah, like I throw it up on Twitter and whatnot.
I hang them up where all my badges and stuff for different conventions go. That has not grown in quite some time. Whose has, right?
If you did raise money for Extra Life and if you exceeded $500 or $1,000 based on, and you should check your email and check your spam because you probably got your redemption email already. Like, hey, go redeem your medal.
Yeah. Mine came in this week. Yeah. I think like Tuesday.
I got mine yesterday. So
I got mine Tuesday. Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, I guess the last thing because I have it as my background. I didn't realize Riverdale had started back up.
Your favorite show? How could you not have known?
Because I haven't turned on a cable box in, I don't know, 6 months.
Yet you're still paying for cable.
Yes, this is another conundrum.
Why aren't you watching any television? I mean, what else are you doing?
Do you have an automatic payment for your cable? Because I just want to throw that out there, man. You ain't turned it on, but you're still paying for it.
So, I mean, right now my cable is just to get me HBO access. I should just anyway. That's a whole nother thing. Don't use me as a role model for
Tony, I can share my HBO Max with you. The president CEO, he said it's okay. They don't care.
Again,
I will share it with you.
I'm not a financial role model. Please do not
See, we pay for cable and have been consistently, but we use it.
We stopped.
Right now, the TV that I had set up on cable on this floor is actually the monitor for this computer that I'm on at the moment. It's a 40-inch monitor. Very nice.
Although I do wish I had cable now because apparently De La Soul is going to be on Teen Titans Go.
But that's got to be on the Cartoon Network app like the next day, right?
Probably.
But I saw the preview.
My favorite group and then one of my girls' favorite cartoons. Who knew they would blend together?
So, Riverdale. These kids need like help. Like they just need they need a counselor. Like yes, but like again, some of my favorite points in Riverdale. Like, and just to know, Riverdale is Archie, essentially just a renamed Archie, like Archie the comics. Archie just fought a bear. Like after he escaped a juvenile detention center where they were running a fight club, he then escaped to Canada, just Canada, the whole country. And while living in the woods, fought a bear and then came back to Riverdale to finish his senior year of high school.
He fought a bear with what?
Oh, his hands. Like, fought a bear. Like, that's because as a fun reminder, Veronica's father, who owns both the local prison and apparently is distributing drugs to everyone through the D&D game.
Well,
that they can't call D&D.
He's guaranteed to make money, right? As if it's
so.
It's
do they call it E&E?
It's a private.
No,
prison.
it's like goblins and gargoyles or something like that.
Oh, G&G. Okay.
It literally is. It really. Oh, it's just.
I'm sorry, I didn't skip enough letters down the alphabet.
I wish I just more people should watch Riverdale because like right now they just got through their
that person
prom.
could be you, by the way. You could be watching Riverdale.
They just got through their prom, and I don't think anyone died at this prom. No, see, this is the first time they had a dance. No one died.
That's disappointing.
You're really selling this show.
They kill people at every dance so far, and they keep letting them have dances.
People keep showing up. They got the prom on auto pay.
Like, and it's like, so the last season ended 2 episodes early because of COVID, so like they are catching up. But I don't think they could get all the actors back, so they suddenly there was this like creepy overtone for like the last 2 seasons, like someone was recording videos of like the front of people's houses, and then like they were breaking in and just sending them VHSs that everyone, by the way, had VCRs to watch on.
In what time period?
Current day. Like there's a scene in this episode where Archie takes a bat to a tube television from the 1950s that they currently actively use as the main TV in that house.
But your background involves cars
anachronistic
that clearly are not
like everything Footloose was warning against.
He also made that like open top jalopy like hot rod thing. Like that's in the show. Him and his dad made it before Luke Perry passed away. So anyway, you should watch this show. I can't stress it. It's on the CW app. If you have, like, you can access it on all major platforms or whatnot. Like, these kids, and like they also.
Ask a question.
Yeah.
So, this is all Warner Brothers stuff, right?
Not only is it Warner Brothers stuff, there are at least 2 spin-offs. So there's Josie and the Pussycats, which I believe was supposed to be a show, and then there's also. Oh my God! I just forgot, but it's on the CW again. It's another CW show, but it's one of Veronica's friends in New York, and like I wish, like living the lifestyle or whatever. But like anyway, like yeah, it's all WB stuff. I'm shocked like the Scooby Gang hasn't shown up because like, but also like
the Hair Bear Bunch.
The Sabrina
Batman and Robin and the Harlem Globetrotters just wander on the
Hong Kong Fooey.
Like the Sabrina Netflix show is also kind of related. Like they mention Riverdale and whatnot in there,
I
which
was
is fine.
asking for like an access point of view. Like, what if you don't have cable? How would you access any of these things?
Oh, this is all the CW app you can get. You don't have to have a cable subscription. Like I actually put the CW app on my Xbox.
But that's separate. Like what I'm saying is like. This is all Warner Brothers stuff, right?
I guess I believe.
So they're charging. So Warner Brothers is owned by HBO, who's also owned by AT&T.
Is it on?
How does all this
HBO
work?
Max?
That's what I'm asking.
Now that's what you're asking. I don't know if it's on HBO Max.
Thanks for the sub, High Rockin' Guy.
I don't know if it's on HBO Max. I should check.
I am Googling right now.
But even if it's not, because it could be on, like, I believe it's going to Netflix, because like that's where the Sabrina stuff is, and kind of like how Spider-Man doesn't get to be on Disney Plus, he has to be on Hulu because of existing or Stars because of existing contracts. So, I believe that. But again, like just like if you don't mind commercials, just watch with the app and you can access all of this. Yeah, they distribute on Netflix.
Apparently, in the chat, Aerodactyl knows a whole lot. She's saying they distribute on Netflix, Sabrina and River. Yeah, so it's a whole thing.
So yeah. So anyway, this show is crazy. Like these kids have just post-traumatic. They all need counselors because they go through just a crazy amount of shit, and you're like, oh, this was junior year.
When half of the class, there's a lot of murder and drugs and.
At one point, they quarantine the school because it turns out, or the town, because something is leaked into the water that's causing all the teens to have seizures. But it turns out it's like residue from the drug operations being done in the lower part of the prison, but it's only affecting teams that have taken the drug so far. Like it's so dumb. But now that guy is also the mayor of Riverdale.
Because of course he is. Of course, the person distributing drugs who owns the jail would
I mean,
also be the mayor.
It's the same idea as how Lex Luthor becomes president in Superman.
It just writes itself.
So, and I mean, Gina Torres, there is one episode where a counselor shows up, and it's played by Gina Torres. But like she never appears again, and I'm pretty sure she's probably dead because like everyone that does show up on screen,
we can
just
only
dead.
hope.
Like just dead in that show. But anyway, again, Archie fought a bear. Jughead and Betty are investigating crimes left and right. It also turns out
they're committing.
Betty. Well, it also turns out Betty has the serial killer gene in her, so she could start committing crimes
There's
at any
a
point.
serial killer gene
Because her father was the serial killer from the first season.
That's not a gene. I don't.
Oh, there's so much bullshit. I wish.
I was not interested in Riverdale, and I was like, "Why is this background Riverdale?" You took me on this high, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds really interesting." And then just like, nah, craziness, madness. This is ridiculous.
It's all ridiculous.
Are you sold, Jay? Are you sold?
But there are 5 episodes this season already out. I hadn't realized that it started.
He's
up
like,
yet,
nah,
I'm very excited.
it's a little bit too much, right?
He had me for like 30 seconds, and then after, like, never watching this show.
It sounds like
I tried.
It's not like you have to take your submission
It sounds like
disbelief
it's
out back and shoot it because it just doesn't make sense.
It sounds like it's a teen drama that the first season they were like, how about we try to be like a TV friendly 13 Reasons Why? And then they had to keep making the show. Like this wasn't a 1-season show. And
they went into the writer's room. We need more. You need what?
They just have to keep topping themselves. Like, what do you think happens now? What Archie, because he went to Canada, can't graduate with everyone else. So then he wants to go to the Naval Academy, but the Naval Academy's like, oh, there's only 1 spot left. So how about you and this other guy have a boxing match, and we'll decide who goes to the Naval Academy.
Is that Navy protocol?
That's anime protocol.
Exactly. That's
Honestly,
we're high in the writer's room protocol. Okay.
So, but anyway, yeah, you should. You know what? If one person in chat watches Riverdale, I feel like I've done a service to that person.
That is a way of looking at that. Just one. There's other ways. That just happens to be one of them. All right, we should probably keep it moving.
Yeah, we should. Let's talk about games real quick.
Jay, please tell us what games you've been enjoying, good sir.
Digital. I've been liking my PlayStation 5. I was lucky enough to get one of those, and I've been playing Miles Morales Spider-Man and Immortals Fenyx Rising. Yeah,
Miles Morales is very good, and I like that it is a more compact experience than the Spider-Man 2018. Like with I think a better story to tell. Though Aaron has my copy now, so maybe Aaron can speak to Miles Morales.
Well, I saw more of it being played than I've played.
That sounds like the best way to have a game.
Jay, where are you in Miles Morales?
I pretty much beat Rhino, and that's
the very beginning.
Very beginning.
Yeah.
Well,
like
okay.
Peter Parker is still still in New York.
No. Okay, he did leave. So he did leave.
He went back to his home planet.
Okay, so see, what had happened was, in our COVID bubble, my wife was retwisting the locks of one of her best friend's son. He's in college, and we're sitting in the room, and I was like, "Oh, you PS5?" I said, "Yeah." So I put on Spider-Man, and as she retwisted his locks, I saw about 4 hours of that game. So I've seen a lot.
Gotcha. Jay, where are you at with it?
I finished it.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, it was like I agree that it's a much shorter experience, but I think because I enjoyed it so much, I wanted more. So I'm hoping for some DLCs and just some extra content. But as a story,
makes sense.
It was beautiful. Like not only the way the story progresses, but like the way that it's shown on the PlayStation 5 too. Like the last scene, the end game scene I felt in a movie theater. It was perfect.
Okay. I am jealous because I believe I am the only one on here right now that does not have a PS5.
You have to warn.
So,
but I am the only one on this podcast that does not have Miles Morales.
Right, that's just because you make back choices.
Well, I do. That's a fact. But also, I never played the previous Spider-Man game, so I'm like, I'm not going to buy this one because it's going to be cheaper by the time I get around to playing it. Because I would like to play the first Spider-Man game before Miles Morales. In theory.
But you don't really.
You know, there's a digital couple where you buy Miles Morales and you get the digital for Spider-Man.
There is, but I already own the first Spider-Man game and I don't want to buy it again. So even though it's the PS4 game, I'm like, I don't know. It'll be fine. I'll still play it someday.
It won't give you the assets.
No.
Oh.
So Miles Morales gets the free upgrade.
Right.
But original Spider-Man does not.
No.
Because they have to pay for replacing the original character model with the more Tom Holland looking model.
Why did they do that? Either make it look just like him or just keep what you had. I didn't understand the purpose of.
Should have made him look like Tobey Maguire.
That first Peter looked really weird.
That's fair. That's fair. Yes, yeah.
But I really I like that game, and like we said, like it is a more compact package. But also, you're not finding 60 different backpacks of Spider-Man's just hanging around the city.
That sounds amazing to not have to do that.
Well, like
make it Backpack Man.
I know we've talked about this, but there's a dumb in-universe reason that Peter won a backpack contest from Oscorp. Like if you get one of them,
backpack contest,
which is unlimited jam sports or whatever. Like that's how they explain why he has whatever 60 or 100 backpacks just spread across the city.
But so the prize, he wins the prize of if you can find these backpacks, you can have them.
No, he wins the prize of he can have a backpack from Oscorp whenever he wants. Because that's a prize someone would
why
give
do you
away.
keep getting these backpacks? We know you can have them, but we're wondering why you need this.
Why do you keep losing all these backpacks?
What is wrong with you?
You're sort of gaming the system there, buddy.
This is not what we had in mind. We started this backpack contract. Like this is not what we.
So what about Immortals? Because like I started that game on my Xbox.
Yeah, it's on every console as far as I know, and people kept asking me how does it compare to Hades, which I have not played, but I've seen like clips from Hades, and they're very different in my opinion. Hades feels like a game that I've never really played before, kind of like a dungeon crawler, and Immortals feels a lot like and this is not a bad thing, but it feels like somebody went on to HeroForge.com, made a whole bunch of people in Greek mythology, and then threw it into Breath of the Wild.
That's what I was going to say, because like it seems odd to compare this to Hades, like a rogue-based run kind of game, when like Immortals just feels like, hey, what if we did mythology Breath of the Wild?
Yeah,
and like it's interesting, like the systems all working together, and it can be very pretty. So I was just watching a video on. Oh God, who are the people that do like the resolution analysis?
Digital Foundry
on the Switch version of that game, which again seems like I don't know how people pulled off pushing that to Switch, but they said it seemed to run pretty well. So
I played it on Stadia, so that's the best version.
I mean, you and I played the demo, right?
Yes, that's all I've ever played.
Yeah,
I don't
when they sent out those free Stadia kits.
We're the reason the Stadia died, not Bethesda.
So.
But yeah, it's gorgeous. The fight mechanics are interesting enough. At first I was like, man, I don't like this because it seemed impossible to level up to the point where I need to. to fight in different areas as you're discovering stuff. But then like you hit this threshold, and then like nothing is impossible anymore, and you're just basically like strategically fighting these different mythological beasts and such.
Did the
Yeah,
puzzles
Forward to
get
the day that I
harder?
play it someday when it's cheap.
After
Which
you
will
play
be-
Spider-Man.
Soon enough. Well, this game will be cheaper before Miles Morales.
Oh yeah, it's an
It already
Ubisoft
is.
game, so yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
both of these, I'm like, when they're $20, I'll pick them up. Sure.
Gotcha.
I mean, just the demo, I enjoyed it. Like, did the puzzles get a lot more challenging, or are they just more of a similar difficulty type of puzzles?
So like it's weird because the way the map is laid out, like you start in one area and you can go anywhere, but like it's not really advisable. But all the puzzles in different areas range from different levels, and they're available to you like at the beginning of the game. But like if you go to a puzzle that you're not quite equipped for, it'll say like you need special item for this, but you can try it, maybe you beat it, but like the range is pretty high, and it's pretty thinky. Like some of them it took me just forever to figure out, and then I realized, oh, that's because I haven't been thinking about it in this way, like this other puzzle. And yeah, it's really nice. I'm actually I think there's 8 total spaces on the map, 8 areas, and I've only been to 2. It's a good game.
How many hours have you put in just to have been in 2?
I want to say, because I got it in December. No, opened it for Christmas. It's only been about a month, maybe about 18 or so.
Okay. And you're like only a quarter of the way through that. That's it's not bad.
I'm taking my time, but yeah, man, it makes you want to take your time.
Did you you compared it to Breath of the Wild? Did you complete Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, I played Breath of the Wild in a really odd way, apparently. Like I went through the 4 legendary creature things before I ever got the Master Sword, which apparently is not the way most people do it.
So you did it the very difficult way. I
Didn't
never saw
realize
it.
that.
I never saw any of them because open world games, I just lose track. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like going over there anymore. I'll play something else.
Yeah. I traversed like the whole game board or the whole like play area before I figured out how to get to the Master Sword.
Wow.
And then when I was pulling it out, I was like, oh, I'm glad I got all these extra hearts. And then Ganon was like super easy.
Yeah, I think that's more or less how I did it too. I don't remember. It's been a while now, but I don't think I got that Master Sword until I had collected all the beasts.
I was going to say, I think I at least hit 3 of the beasts before Master, because it's just like, oh, hey, you go to the Zora place. Like, so I'm not going to leave until I beat the dungeon beast thing. So
Did you all see a guy doing a 100% completion run of Breath of the Wild and to take no damage?
I saw like it pop up on like a YouTube feed
That's
or whatever.
just
Yeah, I saw a notification that somebody did something insane, and I'm like, I'm not gonna watch this.
But like that includes all the Korok seeds too. Like that just
Yep.
seems like a lot of time.
100%
Oh,
the
no,
game.
no, I don't even want to watch that video. That sounds so tedious.
There was I remember I saw a clip of the guy doing it. He was at like, I don't know, 16 hours, something crazy, and he got hit by something. Let's start all over again. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of mind. I mean, at that moment, if that was me, I would just take my Switch, I would snap it over my knee, and I would hurl the pieces out into the backyard and be like, I'd never play in a video game ever in the rest of my life. Done.
That doesn't seem like an
I'm
extreme
just
response,
done.
but okay.
Yeah, I'll accept it. It's
And then I'd probably get into my car and just drive it into my neighbor's house and hope it explodes and kills me.
What about them?
Just to make sure you're 2 years ahead.
Because, well, one, I would never be in that position because I would never play a
would
game
never.
like that.
Nor
So
would I.
we're talking about like cartoons now, you know?
Okay.
But I just can't imagine the frustration level for something like that happening.
Neither could
Yeah.
I. Not me. Oh, Jay, what else you been playing?
Oh man, board game wise, I've been playing some Paleo.
Okay.
It's a pretty nice game by I think it's Z-Man. Yeah, it's a co-op, and basically you're this tribe of cavemen and women. You're a cave community, and you're trying to complete 7 like scenarios that the game comes with, and you can mix and match them after you're done, increase the difficulty, that sort of thing. But it's like really engaging. I'm gonna like use it in future designs and stuff, sort of the play style. But I love just how much anticipation and sort of anxiety you get built up as you're trying to decide what to do. So like each of your turns, you're choosing cards to go to. So like one player can go to the forest or the river or the mountains or like do other things, and you're trying to collect these supplies to basically get like 5 pieces of a cave painting. That's how you finish the scenario. But if you don't work together or you don't do something correctly, one of your people can die, or like you won't have fire for the night, and those earn you skulls, which will make you guys lose the game. And it's like this weird balance of I have to sacrifice going here or like take a damage in order to complete the big objective.
So you can't go too far down one path without jeopardizing another.
Yeah. And they're never locked in place. Like each turn you pull one of 3 cards, so you can like meander through different areas, and there's like surprises. So like there's red cards that are always sort of dangerous, but then there's some cards that aren't red, but you flip it over and it's still something dangerous. Like you go to the forest and there's a giant snake, and now you're like, well, you gotta fight a snake now.
Okay. And this is co-op? Okay. Cool. I've heard
Very
of Paleo.
cool.
I've never. I like the box art. It looks really good.
Yeah.
I had a chance to play it.
It's honestly, it's one of my top 5 now. Like I bought it with my older brother and a couple friends on Thanksgiving, and we played it till like 4 a.m. that night, just doing scenarios. Yeah.
Okay. Like you bought it and played it that night, like day of, like.
Yeah, we
That's
bought it
what's up,
at 4
man.
p.m.
That's all right.
We bought it at
man.
4 p.m. in the board game store. The guy showed us how to play it there. We brought it home and played it like
nice.
4 more times that night.
I don't think I've ever had that experience. That sounds pretty cool though.
Yeah.
That's all right. Paleo. Okay, I'll add that to my list. I like co-op. Everybody, well, you know, my gaming group now, at least for physical games, is my family. So I'm pretty much dependent upon what they feel like doing. But
Yeah.
they won't play a whole lot of co-op. So people in this house, they like to win and then throw it in your face.
Win together in this one.
That's what I say. I'm thinking about like pandemic.
They want to
and
win,
things like
so
that.
you have to lose.
Pretty much.
Roll over.
This is like Alien vs. Predator.
They're coming at me like the Running Man. You know, last year's winners. No, last year's losers. And I see.
Were there any other games you wanted to mention?
I see Rogers. on
Oh, yeah. Rogers. Rogers is another one of my favorites. Because I just won. So like I played this game so many times, and then I bought it like for Christmas, and I never won. My wife or my stepmom or my mother-in-law, they would always beat me, because Rogers has this really cool scoring system where you're following like 2 different tracks, and to win you have to cross them. So it's like your silver track and then your fame track. And once they cross, everybody gets 1 more turn, and that ends the game. But like you're drafting dice, you're building up a tableau, you're going up this river path, you're using merchants to like pay off goods that you've bought. And it's like this really, really intricate strategic engine building that's really a brain burner, but the game is beautiful. It's thematic, that everything that you're doing really ties into everything that's set on this river. And it's just a dope game in my opinion.
It's funny. I'd never heard of it until the dice game came out, and I really like. I mean, I like other games, but I love roll and writes. So I was really thinking about the roll and write version, but I don't know how they play differently or not. I mean, obviously, when you have a pad, you're scoring things, but I don't know. I know I have the dice game on my list, but hearing you talk about the regular game, I'm thinking maybe I need to add that one too to my list because it sounds interesting.
I've played the roll and write once, and it was my first time on Yukata. So like figuring out how to do different things. Yeah,
it was Imhotep.
Yeah,
which was pretty slick.
Yeah, it's a very different interface than I'm used to. So like Raja's Dice Charmers was odd to try to play it on there. It seems cool, but I feel like it just doesn't do the theme of the game justice. It's a little too watered down. Yeah.
I wonder people who are as familiar with the original game as you are also might feel the same way about the roll and write, whereas maybe the roll and write was intended to pull in roll and write fans who were not familiar with the original game. Well, who knows? I mean, I'm sure they felt like, well, it'll probably hit both of those camps, but yeah. But I could see that. A lot of things get the roll and write treatment that it's like, this is not really the same game. Like you just
yeah.
At all. You know. So cool. I'll add that to the list.
Yeah.
Raja the Conscious, yeah. That's behind you, right? That's that one. Behind
yeah, that's
behind Monstrosity and
behind Monstrosity. Yeah. Floor Plan is a good roll and write too, but yeah.
I haven't played. That's on my list though. Floor Plan. Yeah, that does look good. I like that art. Actually, I just uploaded my review for Monstrosity and the expansion Cute Creatures. So I'll probably be posting that tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's a good one, man. Eric Slauson doing some good things.
Yeah. Did you hear he posted about somebody got their
the tattoo
a tattoo of one of his tattoos? Yeah,
that's what's up. That's nobody. Well, I'm thinking about the stuff that I drew in tattoo stores. Nobody want that anywhere close to them. Nobody. They're both fantastic games. But yeah, they both definitely. The selling aspect of tattoo stores is really where it gets crazy. Where if you like, I can't draw, so I take something that looks like crap, but if you could sell it, people might go, you know what? Okay, cool. Throw you a bone there, give you a little something. So.
Yeah, I mentioned that to him. He was talking about something about how someone just didn't like do it justice, and I was like, yeah, because I'm crazy good at drawing, but when I played Tattoo Story, I lost because someone outpitched me. Like I overthought it. I designed all the way, and they just like cut me up and pitched it perfectly.
Yeah. For those of us who do not have any artistic skill, we have to do something. Yeah, that's a good one. And I see Floor Plan. I forgot the designer's name of Floor Plan, but his next game is based on it's like an art museum kind of thing. Like you're in Paris, and you're like collecting aspects. It's like one part of the board is you're getting the resources to put paintings up on like a wall, but they're not like Tetramino shapes, but it's more of a thing where like it's the tile placement kind of thing where you have to fit things into a certain block and range. It's pretty slick. I played it with the guys over at Talent Strike sometime last year. I don't know when it's coming out, but maybe it's Night in Paris, Museum. It's something in Paris, but it's pretty slick. Very different from Floor Plan, but still very appealing. So
cool. Yeah, I have to check that out.
Yeah, and so you have Sagrada back there. I don't have the physical version. I just have the digital one, but that game gets crunchy, man. You just cannot get what you need. It is just so frustrating.
Yep. Sometimes the dice ain't nice, but my wife made me get that, man. My wife loves Sagrada.
Sagrada's good stuff. And I think there's like a single player expansion thing out for that now. I haven't played it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I know in the digital version, like the campaign mode, oh man, it's so difficult. You gotta do everything right or you're just toast.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the stuff behind you. Quacks is my jam,
sure.
Man. Quacks is my joint. Quacks, Rap Gods, another my joint.
Mm-hmm.
I have Dice Forge. I played it on BGA. I've not played the physical version yet. Sorry, Mike J. I'm getting to it. But
dude, like I'm so sad that
it's such a good
it
game.
It is. It's such a good game, and like that's the one thing I love about BGA is that they make some games way easier to play online than in person because like fiddling with the dice and changing it up is just like this. I wish it would do it for me, you know?
Yeah. Check it. I don't think it might be a premium game. A lot of games I go on, I'm like, oh, I'll play it. It's like, no, it's a premium. I should just buy it. I should do is buy a membership because I feel like
$4 a month.
But as Mode coming in, I'm assuming the price is only going to go up. So.
See, like they said it wouldn't. Like it was like laid out. BGA was like, we are not changing this, and this. And like,
yeah, all right.
I hope that doesn't change. Hopefully, they just give us some more games, but we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like then I'll see them dumping a whole lot of more games in there without upping that price. But you know, hey, I'd like to be wrong.
Yeah.
So they put Quacks on. I think Quacks is on Tabletopia. So
could be.
Yeah. Quacks is a good one. That's one where we played it. Everybody was like, "Yeah, this is pretty good."
Yeah,
and it take much.
Quacks is good.
That's good stuff. Yeah, but I do got to get to Dice Forge. I got to get to that one. Yeah, and Rap Gods is another good one. It kind of gives me that Ticket to Ride kind of vibe where you're matching stuff up and trying to tell that story and get those points, man.
Yeah,
those points.
Yeah.
So you a Lego fan too? Is that a Lego ship behind you?
I'm torn, but I'm torn about Lego. This is my wife's actually. She just built this today, but I got a love-hate relationship with Lego. I love Lego, but like their minifigures make me upset. That's a whole nother story that I don't know if we need to talk about.
Okay, I mean you're welcome to get into it, but that's up to you. You know, that's the choice is yours.
Yeah. Well, I just personally feel like there should be minifigures of every sort of skin tone.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and like there's been tons of research and like rebuttals about how Lego is extremely inclusive and stuff, and I don't doubt that at all. I really don't. But I think that in this case, they aren't handling it correctly. Their intentions aren't really understanding what the problem is, because when you think about The Simpsons,
that's the first thing that came to mind when you said that was,
yeah. Whether or not The Simpsons came out after, or if they say, "Oh, we're not The Simpsons," when you have such a mainstream show that illustrates the color yellow as a specific, ethnicity, then you've got to be able to pivot, with the times, and they just don't seem like they want to, and it's frustrating,
Yeah.
But,
I was thinking either it's going to be that, or you were going to say something about the pricing being like kind of ridiculously expensive. Like I don't. Yeah.
See, that's the second part of it. Like I'm paying all this money, and like you can't even try. Like I feel like your sales would go up if you tried this, maybe.
Probably.
And I don't know your profit margin, so maybe this will tank your company. And I'm sorry if it did, but like I would admit that I was wrong. If it cost you that much money,
I still want you to try.
If you went out of business, I would admit I was.
Yeah.
I mean, if they could just apologize for the second Lego movie, that would be helpful too. Because the first one was so good. The first one was so good. The second one was like, what is this? What is? It used to be funny. What happened?
Did you see the Batman and Ninjago movie?
Those two were hilarious. Lego Ninjago was hilarious.
I didn't like Ninjago.
Really?
I love Batman.
I thought everything but the Lego 2 movie was good. The second one was just like, this is so disappointing. Because I enjoyed the first one so much. I was like, what is this?
The first one was brilliant. And Batman. Batman
was hilarious. Yeah. But, I guess they all can't be winners.
Unless you make your skin tones various. Then they're all winners.
Then they're all winners. So there you go. Yeah. I mean, Lego predates The Simpsons by quite a bit, so maybe they feel like, I don't know, they have some reason or rationale to keep it the way they have. But it's other studies have shown like, hey, when people see reflections of themselves, they're more likely to engage in something. So,
yeah, that's the hill I die on.
Hey.
It's a good suggestion. They
should
be embracing it. Like,
It's 2021. Let's get it done. Let's go.
On the other hand, the Lego movie was a terrible date movie, and I will.
Yeah, I still don't understand why that didn't.
It was a bad date. I mean, maybe it was just a bad date. Like those also happen.
That happens. Yeah. Like the two of you just have a sense of humor. Like what happened? Y'all like Will Ferrell? What's the problem here?
I just didn't think that, like I have watched that movie since, and it is a fun movie to watch. It was just not a good date movie. Like it just. I mean, granted, my suggestion would have been Monument Men, and like no one remembers that movie. So, like that's anyway. Yeah,
maybe your date was really into like Mega Blocks or something, and they just didn't understand. They were like, you know what? I'm not
Lincoln Logs.
There you go. Boom.
Very strong opinion.
Sticks and mud, and they just refused to get into it.
Anyway, yeah. But yeah, no. Also, I had no idea about Ninjago, so I watched that movie and I was like, I just think.
I don't know anything about the.
I know nothing about the property.
But the movie was hilarious. Didn't even matter.
Yeah.
All right. Mike, what have you been up to?
So I guess the bigger game that I've been playing, and that's right up until the show, is Bowser's Fury. Specifically, that part of the Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury release that just came out, because I've already played through Mario 3D World, and it's a great game, and I expect to put some time into that once I've completed everything. But Bowser's Fury has been a really welcome surprise in that I didn't know what it was. I heard a little bit, but whatever. I was like, I really like Mario 3D World. That's why I'm buying it. Any sort of bonus thing was like, nah, it's neat. Throw it in. I would have bought that game now that I've played it on its own, because this is exactly why I said I enjoyed Astrobot on PS5 so much, because it is a very tight, self-contained little adventure that's like the perfect amount of time as far as I'm concerned, which contrasts very much the Age of Calamity game, which I enjoyed, but I felt like was way too much stuff in it. Just way more than I wanted. Way more time, way more things, way more annoyances. And I am working on the very last cat shine in Bowser's Fury, because I have beaten it, but I am still enjoying it, and I want to get everything there is to get in the game, because it's not going to take me 50 to 100 hours to get there. I'm figuring I'm like 6, 7, 8-ish hours at max. Probably not even that much.
The hour count was,
but
good.
It's a fun game, and I until the very last few things, I haven't had to look up anything to figure out what was going on or where anything was. I kind of let myself figure it out. And that worked really well, because there were a lot of things that were happening where I'm like, I don't know why or when or whatever is causing this, but through seeing it happen again and again, I figured out, when does Bowser show up in his weird gooey kaiju form? Gooiju
kaiju.
Right. I mean, it's just like and just things like that. Like I almost feel like I don't want to say too much. I know a lot of other podcasts and places have kind of talked in detail about it, and I could rehash all that, but it's also like the discovering most of that stuff was why I like the game. It was like, if I just watched a YouTube video of somebody collecting all the shines and beating Bowser, and I just did that again, I don't think I would have found much enjoyment in this game. So it's exploration, but it's within a reasonable world size, a reasonable time frame, and nothing about it is exceptionally difficult. Yeah, there's been moments where I kind of get like mini frustrated by, I fell off this, now I have to climb this tower thing up again. But there's never been a moment where I was like contemplating turning it off. The only time I ever turned it off was like, wow, it's so late, I should pick this back up tomorrow. Or, hey, got to get on the show because it's 9:01 and I realize I'm still playing this new Mario game.
I literally just started it like 8:15. I threw it on just to try it out. Got a couple of the cat shine sprites. I just feel like, I don't know if this is me. It's like the camera just rotates really slowly. Or...
It does. It's intentional at times where it's trying to point you at something. And yes, I will admit that can be frustrating, because trying to use the middle of my thumb to use the right analog stick while I'm holding the Y button down to run is kind of like, it's not super easy, but it can work in those situations where I feel like it's more helpful to do that than just let the camera do its own thing. And yes, there are portions of the game where it slows down enough where it feels like the Switch can't handle this game 100%. But there are never moments where I feel like, oh, and that's how I died. It's just, yeah, the frame rate dropped a little bit here, and I wish it didn't, but it did, and so what? There isn't like a PC version where I can just, brute force my way through it with a larger video card or something like that. It's just,
so we'll get to buy it again on the next system. It'll run even faster. So they get us every time. We complain, but they're gonna get our money because they know.
Well, really, what I hope they do is something else, either a larger version of this or another new little thing with a fresh idea. They took the game assets and controls and everything from Mario 3D World, which they haven't touched in a while, and they revisit it and they came up with something fresh. And
right, but
I would say there is multiplayer in it, but it's very different from the Mario 3D World game. And I did not play it in multiplayer mode at all. But when I control the second player, which is Bowser Jr. floating around and helping me out, but when I need to point him at something that he needs to paint, I found that to be a bit frustrating, because aiming that seems to be very inconsistent, I guess.
Gotcha. I mean, it sounds like the coolest thing about Bowser's Fury, though, is that it's kind of like God of War, that it's one big open world, there is no loading screen back to an overworld or anything. It's
correct.
You can explore the map, and once you enter an area, it gives you, hey, here are the objectives in that area, but you can leave that area also and go to be in the bigger world. There is never a...
Yeah, there are no walls. There's walls preventing you from going to certain places until you've unlocked it and so on.
But aren't they
there's no walk through this wall and now you're in a quote unquote
arena or whatever.
Reloaded area. It's
right.
Just they name the spot that you're standing, but you can freely walk out of it or swim away or ride the little inflated dinosaur thing.
Right. I would hope that this is the basis for the next Mario game, but it'd
be cool. I would definitely be interested if it is, but if they just say, hey, we did it, now we're going to move on to something totally new, because I feel like Mario Odyssey is different enough that it was just kind of its own thing, like Sunshine was its own thing, and Mario 64 was a revolutionary thing at the time, and Mario 3D World it doesn't play like any of those games.
Right.
And this plays like Mario 3D World with some little tweaks and then some new gameplay elements that define exactly what you're doing. And I think it did it very well. And I feel like this is the kind of platforming that I want these days. It's just like, oh, we remastered an entire generation of, Jack and Daxter. Yeah, big deal. I don't want to play through all those games in one disc or whatever. I'm not going to do it.
In one day, get it done.
Yeah, I thought I was going to get through this whole thing in one day, and I almost saw credits in one day, but I didn't rush to fight Bowser. Truthfully, it took me a while to figure out that I was supposed to be picking up those giant bells So every time he would show up, it'd just be like, I don't know, I better hide. So by the time I actually fought and defeated Bowser completely, I had like 75-ish bells. So I was pretty well on my way.
You were prepared.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So anyway, I had a lot of fun with it, and I do recommend. The other thing that I'll just mention briefly, I had never played Pier Solar before. It's been released for the Mega Drive, PC,
Dreamcast,
a bunch of other stuff, but I've been playing it on Dreamcast by way of the mode, which I didn't know, but this was actually the very last version of Pier Solar that was ever made, and this is the Pier Solar HD version, which has both the original Mega Drive style graphics and music, and the CD based music and higher. It's not really HD because it's 480p max, but redrawn graphics, and you can switch in between them at will in the middle of the game, which is really helpful because what I found is in the very first forest area, I could not find this cave that I was supposed to be making my way to, but as soon as I switched back to the 16-bit-esque graphics, it was night and day. Like, oh, I can see clearly where I'm supposed to be going. Here's a path. It's laid out very well, but it's the exact same environment. It just is drawn differently. And I'm like 3 to 4 hours into that game, and I'm sort of at a crossroads of thinking, I don't know that I'm going to complete this game, because I look it up and the estimates are it's about a 30-ish hour RPG. I'm like, I think that's more time than I want to put into this game, because it feels already like there's a little bit more grinding that I want to do. And the reviews seem to indicate that leveling up and buying new armor and weapons and things doesn't have a dramatic effect on battles. Not as much as you would think based on the numbers that they're showing, which kind of sucks, because I'm constantly thinking, I wish I was just a little bit more powerful and these battles could be over and done with sooner. And they're all turn-based. It's very much like an old Final Fantasy. I feel like there's a lot of influence it takes from the Lunar games, including the default when you walk into something, it will walk around it for you. Like if you're pushing to the left and you come up to a chair, instead of stopping at the chair, your character group will just walk around the chair and continue on without you pushing any different buttons. And that's a thing that Lunar had, and I was like, oh, that's, was sort of a unique idea at the time. And sometimes it's very helpful, but sometimes it's frustrating that I can't easily walk right up to something because I want to interact with it. But you can turn that off, so there's a lot of good options in it. So I'll give it that. For what it is, the music is nice, and the artwork is very good. As far as more than that, it's hard for me to say. I haven't played enough, and I'm not sure. I'm super excited to really do the whole thing, but it was interesting to check out. And these fan-made games for old systems, it's always a curiosity factor, and this is a high-quality one.
It is. It's been around for a while.
It has been. It is like 9 years, I think, or maybe a little more since it first came out. But it's made by Watermelon, who most recently put out the super infamous Paprium.
Paprium, yes.
Right. Which now, if you want to order that, cost you like $200 just for a cartridge or something crazy, because there's weird chips in it, or I don't know.
It does all types of stuff. Yeah, it apparently when you start the game, the first time you do, it's like a mini game with chibi versions of the characters, but then when then I guess if you restart it or turn it off, turn it back on or whatever, then it loads the game up normally. But how do you get let's say you wanted to play the chibi thing again, how do you get back to that? I don't even know.
I don't believe you can.
That's kind of crazy.
It sounded insane.
That's it's a one-time experience. That's unique, if nothing else.
I mean, unless you're playing on one of those clone systems, so the NT Mini or the whatever. What What did MT make the Sega Genesis? Well, like there was a bug that like
the
it
Mega
would not
SG.
Mega SG. That's it. It
Yeah,
would
you
not
can't-
go past the.
Yeah, which was
TV one.
intentional. They didn't. Yeah, that's a whole
So
thing.
Yeah, so the whole thing is weird. The guy sounds really, the guy who makes these games sounds like a real nutty dude. I don't
Very
know.
unique individual.
Yeah, he writes some very strange things in the manuals and the comments and whatever. Some of which don't even I don't know. One last thing I just want to mention briefly is this reproduction Super Nintendo cartridge just got announced by Retrobit called Undercover Cops. Never heard of it before. It was released on Super Famicom, never came out to the US. Apparently was going to come out, just never happened. And they're going to release a Super Nintendo version of the game. And I was like, I've never heard of this game. So I Googled a little bit about it and it was like, hey, it was an arcade game and it came out and it's a brawler and whatever. I was like, wait a minute, arcade game? Maybe I have this in my home right now that I could go play. And yes, I do. And I did. And I don't recommend this game. It is not very fun. It's not the worst brawler I've ever played.
Maybe there's a reason it didn't come out.
Yeah, I don't know what the home version may have changed, but as far as like the arcade version, the graphics are nice. It has multiplayer, which apparently the Super Nintendo / Super Famicom version does not. But otherwise, it's like super repetitive and big deal. There are way better brawlers than this. So maybe don't spend like $70 to $200 on this cartridge or whatever. I don't know. It's a whole bunch of money. So, but I played through it. I did finish it. I'll give it that.
Gotcha.
I powered through with many fake quarters. Anyway. So, Aaron, what have you been?
Mike.
Yes.
Actually, you mentioned Astro Boy. I wanted to say yes. I totally agree. Astro
Rescue
Boy's
Mission?
Adventure for PS5 is.
That's good stuff.
What was that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Astrobot's Rescue Mission.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a well done game. Don't sleep on that if you have a PlayStation 5. Play that game.
Oh my goodness, yes. It's the best PlayStation 5 game that I've played so far. Which is admittedly very few.
Yeah.
It beats the pants off of Destruction All-Stars.
Without even
I was so excited for Destruction All-Stars. It's not. I really was.
It's a game.
It's a game. I will agree to this.
It's not horrible. It's not. I'm not the audience for that game. There is one, and I hope they find it and enjoy it. It's just not me, and that's fine. Yeah. But Astrobot. I mean, did you play the PSVR Astrobot Rescue Mission or whatever, the PSVR version? That's a fantastic. Yeah. So more Astrobot. That's Astrobot for all. So.
That's your campaign when you run for whatever office.
Yes.
Astrobot for all.
Astrobot for all. Elect this man. All right, I'll be real quick. In terms of analog stuff, I played Floriferous, the prototype. It's pencil first games. Visually, it'll sort of maybe remind you of another release that I think is just now getting to Kickstarter backers, the Whatnot cabinet from pencil first. This one you're setting up like a grid of flower cards. It's a set collection game where basically you have your little pawns and it's like a 5x4 or whatever. But it depends on how many players you have, and everybody's picking a card. What doesn't get picked gets kind of discarded, and you're picking either certain types of flowers with like a bug on them, with an insect on it, or a moth, or a butterfly, a bee, whatever. And then some of the cards are like what they called like desire cards. Like some of the cards, the bottom row is all desire cards. So you can pick those too. So that might be like 3 points for every card with a bee on it. So you have to figure out like, what do I see here? What can I like get now and then hope to get these cards later? Because if you don't get them, they're gone. So you go from left to right, repopulate everything, and then right to left, and then left to right again. And it's fun. I'm enjoying it. So I'll have a preview up for that in a couple of weeks. So that's Floriferous. I'm feeling that one. And this one I'm liking too. I'll have a preview for this one up, like I guess the next like 10 days or so. Doomlings, which is an interesting game. It's like this whole thing where like you're repopulating a planet. I think that's the whole thing. Basically, it's a game where you have like a deck of like age cards, and every age is something different. Like it makes your gene pool essentially your hand size. So your gene pool can kind of go up and down as you're playing. So your hand size is going up and down potentially. But then within this stack of cards are 3 catastrophes. The game ends once the 3rd catastrophe happens. So when the catastrophe card gets played, you do the gene pool effect, which normally is taking away the gene pool, which means you have to discard cards. And normally something bad happens, like, hey, every card that's purple, every card that does this has to go away, or give the person next to you 3 cards or something like that. So the catastrophes are a catastrophe, and the whole point is you're playing cards and trying to like collect a set of cards that play off each other. But there's so many cards, and it's really cool. Like, and the writing is kind of cheeky and funny on the cards, things like that. So I played with my 11-year-old. We had a good time. Played a couple of games last night. I actually won for once, which was it felt good to win a game. But it was nice. And I'm thinking, because you look at the cards, this a score of 1 or 2 here, because every card, like cards you play, have some of them are negative. Other cards will say like, hey, this card is worth however large your gene pool is at the end of the game. That's how much this card is worth. So you want to get cards to get you a lot more cards, because why not? So, and hopefully try to keep as many of them as possible. So Doomlings is pretty fun. That's coming on Kickstarter, I think March 2nd. No, between early and mid-March, so it'll be out. So yeah. In terms of digital stuff, I've been playing Mario 3D World as well. Just started Bowser's Fury. I played a game called Castle Kong. And Mike, I sent you a key for this one. I don't know if you got it. It's sort of like a
I don't
Pac-Man
remember this
kind of thing. I sent it to you a couple of days ago. So it's a Pac-Man type of thing where you're a little guy trying to, instead of like a big gorilla, whatever. There's like a king. He sort of reminds me of Lord Farquaad from the first Shrek.
Oh,
He's kidnapped the princess.
Okay.
It's very King Kong. It's called Castle Kong. It's very King Kong inspired, but there's something to it. It's kind of fun. I think they're doing like some kind of tournament thing. I need to do something with that, but I don't know. It seems pretty neat. What else? I'm trying to go real quick. Halloween Forever. I forgot the name of the studio. Kinsey Burke. I know she's moving to Japan to work with the studio. I can't think of the studio's name. Something Lab. Anyway, they put Halloween Forever on the Switch. Very fun action platforming game. Your little pumpkin-looking guy, and I think your weapon is like spitting like candy corn. If that's what it is, or acorns or something. And you're jumping and attacking and all that kind of stuff. So it's a platformer. It's very fun. And it's funny. You think about a game like Shovel Knight and how Shovel Knight has clearly been inspired by games like DuckTales or Mega Man and, older, 8 and 16-bit platformers. So this is the first time I've seen a game that completely rips off Shovel Knight. But it's legit. Like, I say rip off, but like it's been heavily inspired by a game that was already heavily inspired. It's called Cathedral, and it reminds me of Shovel Knight. Like, you're a knight with a sword. You can do like a little pogo kind of thing, but I don't know. It is very, to say derivative is not doing it justice, because it is good. But like, on Shovel Knight, when you pass a checkpoint, some of your money goes into it or whatever. You can break it open to get the money, but then you lose the checkpoint. Right. So you can't break open the checkpoints, but it's the same kind of thing where when you die, every time you die, you lose 10% of whatever money you have. So it has that same, instead of giving you lives, now you lose the money you accrued. But it's fun. Like, I'm liking it. I think I beat the first boss. There's a Metroidvania kind of aspect. Some of the levels, like you'll get an item. Like the first item I got lets me shoot these arrows from my gauntlet, and then I can only have up to 5. Now I got an item where I can have up to 10. And you're hitting the sensors and stuff to make platforms appear. Like, it is a sound platformer with some small, not Metroidvania might be a stretch. Like, there's a little bit of backtracking, but Cathedral was pretty legit, so that's a fun one. The Capcom Arcade Stadium thing got announced during the Nintendo Direct. I went through a level or two of Ghosts and Goblins. That is the first one, right, Mike? I always say it wrong. Is it Ghosts and Ghouls?
Ghouls and Ghosts is the
and
sequel.
Okay.
Ghosts and Goblins is the original.
Yeah, so I'm playing. It's the arcade version, so you can download Ghosts and Goblins and 1943, and everything else you got to pay for. So those two are free for right now. And
Ghosts and Goblins is very limited. Like if you don't get it soon, it's not going to be free.
Yeah. So
43 is I think a permanent freebie.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
And there's a rewind feature. That's how I got to the first level because it's
Ghosts
and Goblins. So.
The most beneficial thing of any of this stuff, because otherwise it's like, yeah, this is available 1,000 other ways.
Yeah, I mean they put out that that Capcom thing for the 360 and the PS3 that's still backward compatible on the Xbox One or Series X or whatever, so you can still play that one. That is never rewind though. Oh, that's pretty legit. And then the last thing is, what did I play? Oh, Summer Catchers. So I don't quite know what the full background is on this game. I just know like it looks like an auto scroller, but you're on like a jet ski, and on the right side of the screen you have different icons, like an icon that like lets your jet ski thing bounce over obstacles, or like a shield that you bash through. Like I don't know why you're bashing through totems. I'm hoping that's not like an offensive thing either. I'm not thinking about it, but basically you don't really control your character. You kind of do, but you more are controlling the items they need to use frequently.
Right.
And then
So it's like an auto runner. Like they are continuing moving forward no matter
what. And your job is to make sure that you get as far as long as possible. It's pretty challenging because you might get to the point where like you need to have the tire icon to jump, but if all you have is the bash ones,
you're just screwed.
Yeah, well, if you're me, you fall off the jet ski and then it says game over. But some things just can't be helped. So that's stuff I played. So that's it for me.
Gotcha. I'll be real quick. I finished my first run through of Hitman 3 on PS4. The game's a little rougher than I'd say the previous Hitman versions, but I think maybe that's just because IO is now on their own. But like, it's still a ton of fun, and it's still so many different creative ways to take out, and the different story beats you can hit. The second mission is essentially just a Knives Out parody.
I like that movie. Where
you can essentially be Daniel Craig from that movie.
Okay.
There's one mission, it's the third mission in, which is weird. You're at like a nightclub and you're being hunted by this agency, and you have to identify which of the participants in the nightclub are agents. And like sometimes if you're watching closely, you can see people put their hand up to their ear and you'd be like, oh, that's probably someone not using a Bluetooth headset. And I've seen some updates and I've seen people playing it recently. And it looks like they actually added like indicators on the map now. Because when I first played through it, it's like I don't know how I'm supposed to tell who these people are unless I just like sit here or I wait to see if they like start talking to themselves or whatnot. But overall, like I enjoyed the heck out of it. I've now finally figured out how to import all of my content from the other two Hitman games in. So like Hitman 3 is the definitive collection of all of that content from Hitman 1, from the remake essentially forward. And it's great. Like again, I can't stress enough how much fun like going through and finding the different like abilities to, whack someone and whatnot, which hearing myself say this just makes me sound like a disturbed individual. But
well, I mean, video games, we routinely discuss murder, so.
Understood. Yeah, but I was also on the phone while I was playing this, and I was describing to someone else, and I'm like, no. Maybe I shouldn't talk about this. But, but again, I've been enjoying the heck out of it. I've finished my first playthroughs and like relatively standard, how I'd say missions. Like sometimes I would go back to my gun or whatnot, but there's stuff with like explosive rubber duckies and setting up like big electrocution plots for. Anyway, you should check it out. Like especially if you've enjoyed the other Hitmans, it's a great. If you have if this is your first chance, Like go buy whatever the $70, $80 version and get all the content from all 3 games. Like that's a great deal, and I enjoyed those Hitman games over the last 5 years. Other than that, Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb is a free game on Xbox Games with Gold.
It is.
Yes. And this I was playing this, and I was like, this reminds me a lot of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer game that I was playing. And then I realized that's because it's the exact same developer, and it was their next game.
Yeah.
So it was made by the Collective. Like, it's interesting. Like, it's probably the best Indiana Jones game. I mean, and like I like the point and clicks, but like you have to be in a very specific mindset to play
right, like
action
based.
Right.
Like you'd have to be in a very specific mindset to go back and play those.
Yeah, I mean that 2600 game where you need both controllers just to be able to play the game legitimately, and then still read the manual to have any idea what's going on. I mean, that's a close neck and neck right there, but
yeah.
I also played some of this, and I mean, it was actually a little bit better than I remembered, because just a few years ago during Extra Life, I tried to play it on PC with some modified stuff so that I could use a controller.
Right.
And it was acceptable, and I got a little bit farther than I did playing it on Xbox, but this looks at least as good with the upscaling.
Yeah, with the upscaling and the HD, the auto HDR and whatnot, like it looks nice.
Yeah, the actual game itself, like the gameplay looks really good.
Yeah, the cutscenes are still compressed garbage.
Right.
But like there are some weird texture issues I did have. So at one point you are up against I think albino giant alligator.
You've gotten farther than I have.
Okay, so this is essentially I'll spoil it. It's the end of the first like temple session, like whatever. Like you're stealing something from an indigenous tribe, and they had a giant alligator protecting it, and his shadow just would be all over the map, and I couldn't tell where the actual alligator was.
Okay.
Even though I tracked it in another room, I was like, that's weird. Like, did it get out? Like, is this about to be a bad day for Indiana Jones? But other than like small stuff like that, like I enjoyed it. Like it's a fun initial piece. What Harrison Ford sounds bored to be there.
Well, it's not Harrison Ford.
They didn't cut him.
Is it not? I thought he'd come back.
I don't think he's ever voiced in any game or anything. Here, actually, because I was like,
I'm going to check now too. Anyway, I don't know if it's not Harrison Ford. The voice actor there also sounds bored to.
Oh yeah, super bored. Yeah.
So, but I mean, hey, like I said, it's a free game if you're on Xbox Live, so you should.
Guy's name is David Esch.
Okay, David Esch also sounds bored.
Who I think I don't know. There was some. Yeah, he's been in. Actually, yeah, he also fake voiced Han Solo in a couple of games, which is kind of interesting.
It's a third, like, just realize it is a third person action game from the early 2000s.
Very early, and you know, like, it is what it is. But
keep your expectations low, and
you'll be
agreed wholeheartedly in that respect. But the moment that I was still taken aback. Even still it was the first encounter with enemies who had guns, and the one guy had a shotgun, and he shot me point blank in the face, which blew me across the room, and I smashed into a wall on the other side, fell down, and lost about 20% of my health.
That's not too bad.
I think I want to say I might be playing on an easier difficulty because I feel like shotguns take like 5% of my health.
Yeah, I put it on the easiest difficulty there is.
Okay, so yeah,
I gasped in horror at what I just watched because it looked that brutal, and he was just like, "No problem."
No, he just got up, wiped it off, put his hat back on, time to go.
Just but a flesh wound.
I do love that, like, these guys square up with you, and like you're about to fight them, and then I just pull out a gun and shoot them. Like that's
like, classic Indiana Jones.
Yeah, like I am not dealing with this BS. So, and then the last game, which is a game I hope maybe some people from GameEnthus will want to play, and I know a couple of people want to get in on it. I started Monster Hunter World on my Xbox.
I like my games.
I looked
fun,
at that
so
once.
I don't.
It is uninstalled for a reason.
I demand it.
I mean, we tried Monster Hunter Try, Aaron. We could try this again.
I complained the whole time.
The Wii. You did complain the whole, but you complain the whole time about a lot of games. So
yeah,
that's not
old and crotchety. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I am playing it. I feel like I've picked the most like what I would consider as the weapon that Tiny, I don't know, me would pick regularly, which is a giant hammer, because like I'm just gonna go tank and just beat the shit out of these dinosaurs or whatever the monsters are.
See, I just feel bad. I'm like, why are we going and beating up these things that just want to exist?
I mean,
I know
the opening cutscene is one attacking your ship or whatever, but then like maybe did it really attack your ship, or did it just like surface and your ship was like above it, so like it got stuck on its back? Who knows? We're gonna find out when I make an armor set out of that monster. So, but,
how many wallets can you make out of this dragon?
Exactly. Like it's just Far Cry, but with dinosaurs. I like that game's very pretty. I thought about buying the Iceborne DLC, and then I was like, then I'll never get anyone to play with me because that's not what's free on Game Pass right now. But
you just stated a fact.
You know your audience, yeah.
So, but I mean, I was hoping my co-host would want to play.
Okay, if it's on Game Pass, I will download.
Yeah, I mean, I could be cajoled into reinstalling while before before Comcast reinstate or like officially enforces the data caps. They're in place, but we're still in the grace period.
They're on their way.
Know this now. It is on Game Pass, so it is other than the data download, it is free to you.
Right.
So
I got 10 days.
So that's about it. So,
okay.
I mean, we already talked about a lot of stuff. So I don't know if do you want to go over any news, Aaron, or
no, I think. Well, why don't you mention the Janae stuff, and then we'll go there.
Yeah, friend of the show, Janae has a PC Gamer article about up and coming Twitch streamers that you can check out, which was good stuff. And then since we're 11 up and coming Twitch streamers to follow on or streamers to follow on Twitch, which is a PC Gamer article. And I retweeted it and whatnot, and Linux has also retweeted it. So you can see that. I guess the other thing I'll mention, because I threw it on here too, apparently the DS Lite has like a composite out circuit in where so like if you ripped off the top screen and looked at how the connector worked to the top screen, there's a composite lead. So like there's a video, and I put it in the thing, of a guy developing a composite adapter for the DS Lite.
Looks at DS Lite on shelf.
Composite though, really? I mean,
yeah, I mean it makes sense for the resolution it would be at.
I mean, but the appeal of outputting that to a large screen seems minimal at best.
The appeal is then to stream DS games,
which you can do in an emulator anyway.
Some of us like to use the hardware.
Yeah. Like that 3DS, that 3DS
I like that
emulator is like legit, man.
See that noise? That's my bag.
Mike, you were not the one that I was putting this news on here for.
Remember, I was the guy who was using, what was that thing called, KitKat or Snicker or whatever. I was
the thing that streamed over Wi-Fi.
You could stream with using the extra processing power of the new 3DS. You can use that little bit of power to stream to the PC. So with great power, great responsibility.
Check those out. But let's wrap this up and start with Jay. Any shout outs, plugs?
All your links will be in the show notes, but
so again, I'm doing the Super Collider improv event tomorrow. That'll be on Facebook Live.
What time?
You can just Facebook search Super Collider. 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm always on Twitter in the board game Twitter community. Shout out again. That's pretty much it for me. Check out CloverSpark if you want to see some weird stuff that I'm working on. Other than that, man, I'm just thankful that you guys had me on there. This was dope.
Thank you for joining us, man. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. Like I followed you on Twitter not too long ago. I was like, this brother's over here making stuff. Let me see what's going on here, man. I sent that DM like, you want to be on the show?
Yeah.
You want to talk to me?
Yeah, I'll return if y'all.
Oh, no doubt.
Y'all want to talk about more TI and 2-year plans.
Hopefully, we'll have more movies out we can discuss by then. That'd be what's up. Yeah, it's definitely been a pleasure having you on, though. And we certainly welcome you back to. Hopefully, we won't get into quite as many tangents as we did this episode, but I can't promise anything.
I wouldn't make that commitment, but okay.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't do that. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, that's why I'm returning, so don't promise anything.
I said nothing. Mike, how about you?
And here are all of the movies that Hayden Christensen has appeared in his entire career. Anyway, as I always do, I encourage anyone who is eligible to donate blood, and if you have any pets, to have them spayed or neutered. Aaron, what do you got?
All right. Thank you once again to Jay for his time and his patience as we rambled and went all the way around the world and came back to Mortal Kombat somehow. Shout out to the folks in the chat watching live. GameVed and Carly and Monique and everybody who was in the chat. Hard Rockin' Guy, appreciate you all. The subs, the follows, all that stuff is very encouraging. I don't stream a whole lot, so the show is primarily what I stream a lot of. I want to be doing more video game wise and board game wise, but you all tuning in and subscribing and following is definitely encouraging for me, so I appreciate that. Thank you. Shout out to Mike and Tiny. Appreciate you guys being here for the.
Thank you for having us.
400 plus time. I don't take that for granted. And if you want to leave us feedback, you can always email us at podcast@GameEnthus.com. Leave us a voicemail at 202-573-7686. And I probably shouldn't say this, but it won't. I mean, by the time the show is up, it'll already have happened. But I was very excited while we were sitting here to get an email from BGG that they're going to feature me on one of the days of Black War Game Creators. I have no idea how I made it, but
nice.
That is very encouraging because I've not been making content for board games for really not even really 2 full years. So that is wow. That's something. So that makes me feel very, very warm feeling inside. No denying that. But anyway, I'm rambling.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And Tiny.
I'll finish this up. I got 2 things. One, this weekend is Uplink, which is the Long Island retro game convention. They're doing a virtual event, and at least several friends of the show are going to be doing panels there, like Cannot Be Tamed.
Okay.
So check that out. I think it's like $10 to get access to all the streams and whatnot. I liked Uplink last year, so I mean it's a lot of retro stuff. So if you enjoy retro video games, it's probably something to check out. And then the other one, it is, and I have to check the date, February 18th today. And you haven't signed up for your Extra Life account yet to help raise money for your local Children's Miracle Network by playing games, board games, video games, card games. I had a guy fish for 24 hours, though I wouldn't suggest that right now. But on 100% of the money raised goes directly to the Children's Hospital of your choice. There's 170 to choose from across the United States and Canada. So go to extra-life.org, sign up, and you can play games and help some sick kids. And if you can't take part, you can go to GameEnthus.com/extra-life and donate to your favorite Game Enthus personality. I know it's me, so that money will be going to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And like I said, 100% of what we raise goes directly to the hospital, to the Children's Hospital as well. So yeah, go to extra-life.org, sign up, or go to GameEnthus.com/extra-life to donate to your favorite Game Enthus personality. And that's about it.
All right. Jay, we've talked your ear off for quite some time.
Yes, thank you.
We appreciate your patience, sir.
GameBit says, man. This was great.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Tiny GameBit says, love you, Tiny. So, you're getting some love on the Twitch stream. Love is a good thing. Don't take love for granted. Embrace it. Anyway, everybody, enjoy the rest of your week. Wear a mask, stay
Well,
safe.
hopefully,
I was going to
multiple
say,
weeks.
enjoy the rest of your weeks is a very ominous thing to say. Like,
What do you know?
Enjoy
Aaron,
the
should
rest
I-
of your precious minutes.
right. Why is Aaron suddenly behind me?
He teleported. I don't know. Through the net.
It's the jumper.
Great White Hype and Jumper. It's the same movie, right? Damon Wayans was in Jumper, though. I'll prove it.
Was he?
No.
Okay, I was gonna. I've seen 5 minutes of that movie, so like you could tell me, I'd be
yeah,
like,
he was. Yeah,
I
I'd
skipped
be like,
over
okay.
both of those.
that's
I
funny.
barely. I wasn't sure I was right about Samuel L. Jackson having the weird silver hair, so I was like, I could be wrong here. Like that's 100% something I could. Like I remember more about the video game because the video game weirdly is about his friend. It's not about Hayden Christensen,
Which was weird.
like
There was a video game?
Yeah.
there is a
It was on the
360.
It was on the Wii too. What was there a Wii version?
I don't think any of the other versions came out, did they?
With the
What was the guy's that it was called Jumper something somebody's
Someone's tail or something. Like,
something. Yeah.
it's
Yep.
definitely a
Jay,
360.
Jay, you got homework now, man. Not really. Not really.
Yeah.
Griffin's story is what it was
That's
called.
a Google search. You go done.
So,
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
it did.
Griffin's
It came
story.
out on the Wii and on the 3. That's weird. The 360 and Wii,
They're very popular systems.
I
And a
understand.
PS2
It's not. At least I can't buy the PS2
The
version.
most popular system.
on in Australia.
Okay. All right.
Anyway,
We're on another tangent. All right. We're out of here.
yes.
Have a good one.